Greetings, everybody. How is everybody today? Salutations and felicitations, as Trelane would once say. Anybody who knows who Trelane is? Okie dokie. All right, so Allium and Allium and Scotty may be joining a little bit late, so I'm going to go ahead and start things off. Yes, from Star Trek, that is correct. The original series, the probably Q, before they called them Q. Okay, so here we go. I got my script, so that should keep us on track for a little bit at least. All right, this is where is this? Yeah, it's up here someplace. Apparently, I have this thing on my. Hmm. Somehow I don't have the intro on there. Yeah, that's okay. All right, so this is Shroud of the Avatar. This is a dev stream for our 127th release. We do a live stream after our monthly update, which is the last Thursday of every month. We take the server down 8 a.m. Central Time and perform maintenance on the system and apply server and client updates on a regular basis every month. So there's obviously other patches every once in a while, but pretty much there's a guaranteed patch on the last Thursday of the month. At this moment, going to try to change that schedule a little bit. After 10 and a half years of doing patches every month, it's getting a little stale. Uh, I'd like to shift our dev cycle a little bit more to a quarterly update, and we're in process of changing some systems so that way we could actually make that happen. Anyway, this is a free-to-play game. It's available on Steam and direct download on our website. We don't really do very much with the Steam side of things, so we encourage everybody to download the game directly from our website. Uh, and although there are things that we want to add in that Steam would uh, be beneficial for, such as achievements and things like that. But more about that later. Um, so let's see here now. Where is my stuff? I'm lost here. I lost my part of my introduction. So, all right, we'll skip into housekeeping here. Usually I say some other stuff in this, and for some reason, oh, there it is. Found it. Okay, so yeah, 10 and a half years. Yeah, sure. Okay, Shy of the Avatar is a free-to-play game with over 400 scenes to explore. Follow us on Twitch at /Shroud of the Avatar, Facebook Shroud of the Avatar, Twitter Shroud of Avatar, or via RSS feed on our website at shroudoftheavatar.com. See, now I'm back on track. All right, we have at least one live stream a month providing updates on game development as well as upcoming events and sales. Today we will have at least two prize name giveaways to enter. Type the phrase "Happy Birthday, Lord British" into any in-game chat, including whispers, or make a purchase on the website. Players can enter the phrase in-game anytime prior to or during the live stream up to the drawings, or make a purchase on the website to enter. I guess I didn't have to say that twice. Uh, so basically, it's anytime during today leading up to the stream that could be said. And stress that that's only in game. So anybody who says it in Twitch is literally just saying it because they want to wish Lord British a happy birthday, which is very nice of you. Okay, we will add a round of prize drawings for each hype train level completed by the folks who are watching Twitch. And right now we don't have any hype trains going, so I'm trying to keep an eye on that. I think Allium had found where it was that we could identify how many were completed, but I don't have that information in front of me. So there you go. Okay, let's see. Introductions. Let me see. Who should I start with? Oh, I guess me. Okay, so I am Stephen Reinen, also known as Ravalox, and I consider myself to be the chief cook and bottle washer. Do a whole bunch of different things, lots of different hats to wear. I work on the game. I do community management and administration, IT, you name it, I got my hand in that mess. So there you go. So today we have sales that started with release 127. That would have been yesterday. The sales go live at noon is when they're supposed to go live. So yesterday I've actually changed something last month in my process. So the Kodos live on went up for sale at the discounted rate, 20% off, while we were working on the server. And this is actually the way this will happen going forward, so that way I don't forget to do it and have to add on extra days of sales because I forgot to do something. And also, it gives you guys the opportunity to go ahead and purchase stuff or look at stuff on the website while the upgrade or update process is occurring. Um, so the Kodos are on sale for 20% off, as I just said. Uh, the, uh, the the rolling 22-hour in-game Crown Store sales will be 30% off. They're normally 20% off, and the items that are for sale or on sale in the Crown Store change every 2 hours. In-game deed upgrades are 20% off. Player-owned town upgrades using Kodos will be 20% off. You could upgrade your town two ways. One way you could go up on the website and there's a dollar amount that you could pay to upgrade your town from one size to another. It allows you to place more houses and more deco items and such and so on into the player-owned town that you already own. Or you can reach out to support at shroudoftheavatar.com and let us know that you want to upgrade your town to the next level or any number of levels using Crowns of the Obsidians, which is the purchasable in-game uh, currency. So there is a chart. If you go into, I think it's in Discord in general as a pinned message, as well as in the forums for upgrading your towns. There's a chart that'll tell you how many crowns of the Obsidians it will cost, a calculator for that. But if you're not sure, feel free to email support, and we will very happily let you know how much it would be to go to whatever level town you want to get to for crowns. Anyway, so that offer is open, or all these offers, all these sales are up until the end of the 12th. So midnight um, at the end of the 12th at midnight Central Time, we will then issue a patch. When the patch goes out, that's when the sales end. So so it'll be sometime between midnight on the 12th or the beginning of the 13th. Somewhere into the 13th, depending on whether or not I'm awake and if I remember to build the patch. So, cross your fingers. Um, okay, so in addition to that, we also have something XP. I'm not sure what this is. I think a lot of you people know and you like it, so we doubled it, and that'll be doubled through July 12th. So experience in the game is doubled until the end of the 12th. Uh, yeah, so there you go. All right, now. Um, Okay, so I'll get to. I see comments in there. I'll get to you guys in a second. July's login reward will include the Septicentarian, which I'm probably not saying right, title, blue, red, and white sparklers, and a slice of birthday cake. That'll come out on July 1st and be available for anybody who logs in throughout the month of July. The Septicentarian, I think is the correct way to say that, is a title that is earned because Outlanders have been in New Britannia for, well, we haven't really been here for so many, but the collapse, the cataclysm occurred 700 years ago in game New Britannia time. So that title is earned for that purpose. And we'll have another one for the 800 year, which is going to be the Octo-Cententarian. Cententarian, yeah. Uh, and that'll I have to set a reminder for myself to make sure that that title goes out on time. Um, so we also have a special stream going to be on the 12th of July. This is for the birthday of our Lord British. He will be attending the festivities as well as a number of other devs. We've sent out invites to a bunch of people, and we'll be doing one of our longer streams. We've scheduled it for 4 hours, so we'll see how that goes. If it might go longer or might just stop at 4 hours. But lately, as you guys may have noticed, we have been having longer streams recently. So I think that getting to 4 hour stream is going to be quite kind of easy for us at this point. So, and along with that, of course, there'll be special prizes and uh, um, obviously conversations, talking. Monsters may come in to wish Lord British a happy birthday, but then be misunderstood and get their rear ends killed. Who knows? Things like that. In addition, there's the new battle axe that we made, and get off my horse. Get off my horse. So, all right, and I'll go over here. Okay, so we made a new battle axe called Lord British's Brutal Battle Axe. And this is a special bonus item that is given out with any purchase of a 10,000 Kodo pack from the website. That's where you get 10,750 Kodos for currently, since they're on sale, for $80. And this um, this lovely, shiny, brutal battle axe will be delivered to your account for every 10,000 Kodo pack that you purchase after the 12th. The special runs from now, well, yesterday, until the 12th, and through the 12th, I should say. And so after that's all done, then we go in there, we tabulate, find all the people who made those purchases, and then mail those out. So don't expect them on the 12th in your inboxes in the game. They should be delivered somewhere over the course of the next week or so. After that, depending on how many were actually purchased. As you guys know, when we have such a large number of purchases and people doing stuff like that, it takes a while to disseminate those prizes. Now, the battle axe is pristine on the wall, as you can see here. It's like a brand new looking shiny battle axe. But if I equip it, then it shows off its battle scars, as it were. It's a scarred and bloody battle axe. It has definitely seen action. So the battle axe has some bonuses associated with it, which of course you'll have to find out when you get one to find out what they are. I'm not telling you. That's all there is to that. Let's see now. Okay, so far so good. Okay. Then we have some stuff coming up that topics we'll talk about throughout the stream here. So I can stop there for a second. And I've also started doing this. Uh, I am standing in our dev scene that we call decoration station, and I have put together a lot that has the prizes for today's stream. So, let's see, not necessarily in order because I can't remember the order that they're in, but we have a barbecue smoker, which actually is a crafting station, a cooking crafting station. And we have a decoration ornate single brass hitching post. And we have a flaming bagpipes. So well, come on. Right. Forget which game I'm playing. Okay. So, equip. And I think this is going to be a problem. Yeah, I think I have to have an emote for that or something, and I don't know what that is off the top of my head. Sorry, unprepared. Um, and then a crafting sigil tapestry, and of course the final and grand prize, or what I've deemed the grand prize, is this three-story Viking crafting house thing. Yeah. My brain shuts off after release, by the way, just so you know. So this will be given away today in the prizes. So we have at least two of these to give out today, and the longer the stream goes, yeah, Pavilion, thank you. All right. Yeah, Crafting Pavilion. Brain dead, I'm telling you. Okay, so we will do at least two prize drawings at around 10 minutes to 5, quarter to 5, something like that. So get in your phrase all throughout. Happy birthday, Lord British. Say that in game. And if the stream extends into the second hour, then we'll do more prizings based on how long we end up staying on stream. Okay. So anyway, these are also, since I'm here, I have these horses. These are coming. Actually, I think the foals are in there now, and you could place a little pile of hay, and then you'll get the foal or the horse. So we have two different spawners that we've added in. Allium did this. Excellent job. And you'll be able to get that on the Crown Store. That'll be a choose one bag. So basically, the Crown Store entry will show all the different skins that the horses have, and then you'll be able to, when you buy the bag, you could choose from any one of those horses. So, and then we also have coming in decoration pets versions of the horses as well. And I believe that the foals are in now, and the horses will be in on the 12th. So the horse is agreeing with me. So there you go. And this bay horse is just here for reference. Because the horses are the same as the normal horse. Oh, come on. See, I walked behind him. Not supposed to walk behind a horse. All right. So, with all that said, all right. Now, let me see. Where were we? All right. Yep. I think we're good. I'm going to head over to Castle Atos, where I believe they're saying that the bonus buff is at max right now. So we'll head over there. All right, now while I'm loading scenes here, I'm going to scroll back because I know there was at least one question, so I'm scrolling through that stuff now. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Um, Okay, so yeah, the first one, Deuce Blackheart is asking if there's any chance you could let it slip when you'll be able to dye your bone armor. Yeah, I actually did a first pass on that, and uh, it didn't come out as good as I wanted to. There was still some of the wrong color left behind someplace, so I need to go back and finish that up. Um, yeah, so that is coming, but it's going to take a little bit. Um, yeah, it's supposed to be leather that's underneath that. The bone pieces are supposed to be sewn on and being held by leather, and I have to agree that it doesn't really look that great. So, but the bone has some shadowing on it that's not taking the the dyeing aspect of it very well. So it ends up looking um, like it's got some reddish brown stuff on the bones. So I gotta sort that out. Okay. All right, now let's see here. I'm scrolling down through this, make sure. Who am I calling a battle axe? I'm not telling you who I'm calling a battle axe. It's a battle axe. It's a thing in the game. And, I don't know if there's a battle axe involved. It's just a battle axe. All right, so no, not going to show you the secret stats. Mm, okay, see that. All right, sorry, guys are catching up here. Yeah, thank you, Prankster. Uh, do, do, do. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. It's a great community. You guys are updating all the details that I miss and say, so that's cool. Um, Okay, good. All right. So, yeah. Well, that one actually made some sense. So we decided to mess with it and see what we could do with the bone armor. So no worries. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously we're not encouraging people to come up with silly ideas, but we do actually read um, the Ask a Devs, we read the wish lists, we read the bugs. So the bugs are, processed in, and we give them JIRA numbers, and we start working on that stuff. The wish list, we get together, we talk about some of the wishes that are up there that look like they might be feasible, and then we put them in as well, and sort them out. And then Ask a Devs, again, if you're gonna do an Ask a Dev, just please make sure you're actually asking a question that's something about current mechanics and things like along those lines. If it's something that looks like it's a bug, put it in the bug forum. If it's something that's a wish that you're like, well, it works this way, but I would like it to work that way, then that's a wish list item, and you definitely should be putting that into the forums as well in the appropriate areas. We will not answer things that are not true Ask-A-Dubs. So there. Thank you, Michael Rain, for reminding me that I was in ghost mode. Um, okay, so let's see here. All right. Okay, so we have next month is a content month. So we have some episode 2 quests coming in, and we are also looking at there's some scene stuff that we're doing. So I'm working on the Lottie basement, which is way, 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 way overdue. And getting that finished, there were some technical bugs with it, and got to get that fixed. In addition, there's new tech that I have to put in to make that work. So basically, the Lottie basement, Lord of the Isle basement, is is actually a full scene. It's we've taken the um, we've taken the fishing expedition scene and expanded it. So it's got 5 islands on it now instead of just the sandbar in the middle. I don't want to go into this too much because in its current form, this is an item that's being part of the pledge for the Lord of the Isle. So it's going to the folks who purchased the Lord of the Isle pledge package, and that'll be tidied up and sent out hopefully at the end of this month. At the end of July, I shouldn't say the end of this month because it's only 2 days left, but I'm looking to get that done by the end of July. The problem I'm running into right now, I mean, there's a few bugs in it that I got to sort out, but I have solutions for all those things. The problem I have right now is I have to write to new tech for a new basement. So basically, this basement, I've coined it as being a pocket universe because instead of going in and having walls, a roof, and being subterranean, right? In theory, you'll be going into a basement that will actually have a skybox that you'll actually be out in the open in a scene. Um, and uh, what we want to do is actually make it so that way you could get one of these in the Crown store, not the specific Lottie one, but basically a scene. Imagine, if you will, a meadow, right? So basically, like the POT template, that's the flat field with wildflowers in it and stuff like that. If you had a smaller version of it that you could access through a basement hatch, and then you could go in there and decorate it. You would not be able to place houses. It would have a larger uh, decoration limit than a basement would because it's a bigger area, and it's a dedicated scene. So um, this is what we want to do with this, and the idea here is that if you go into the Crown store, you'd be able to get one of these things, and we have a few on deck as to what we want to make. I might give you a hint or two on some of those. I have um, definitely the meadow. The meadow is probably going to be the first one because, well, honestly, it's the easiest. Um, and then I want to do something with like an alpine one. I'm not going to mention, there's another one that's very unique that we don't have a scene like this at all. But we don't know if it's going to work, so I'm not going to tell you what it is. But we have this other thing that we're working on with that as well. So bottom line is that you'd be able to go into the Crown store, buy this thing, and it will be, we'll say, X number of square meters. And we've identified the size that it's going to be. It's not going to be tiny. It's going to be, pretty big. And then it'll look like a regular scene. It'll have like mountains in background or something that'll, give you an indication that as if you're in another world. And then this scene that you get would be able to be placed as a basement in any house size. That's the intention. So if you get one of these things, you still be able to put that on a row. So you don't have to have like a castle to put this down. This would work on anything, row, village, town, etc., all the different sizes. So it'll have its own basement deed classification to allow it to be placeable on any row, any size lot, and it'll have its own set of decoration limits. So it's definitely a departure from some of the stuff that we've been doing, and this is going to be the first iteration to try it out. So I'm thinking that the meadow may be the first one that we get in, and I can't promise that it'll be in there at the end of July, but if it's not in there at the end of July with the lot, because the Lottie scene's first. Lottie scene's priority. I gotta get that done. Once the Lottie scene is done, then that'll have set up all the structure and framework for this to be able to for us to be able to put this in the Crown store and let everybody purchase these other little scenes. And of course, we have to make them. They're just like pot templates, so we have to make more of those, more of these scenes. So I'm assuming that if I'm on time with the Lottie scene for the end of July, So that'll be release 128. Then I would expect that this new feature will be available in 129, if not in 128. So it all depends if I could get that done. I got to talk to Sannio and see if we could knock out one of these things pretty quickly. And once we do one, then we should be able to go in there and do an Elgarian. Yes, I'm making Elgarian a verb. So we could go in there and mass produce a bunch of the stuff. So once the structure's all in place, then more than one of us can go in there and make these things. As we go, they'll get more complex, right? Because we're going to have more interesting stuff like this other one that I'm not mentioning anything about it. Trust me, I'm dying to, but I can't because we don't know if it's going to work. But if it does, then this gives you an idea it'll give you an idea of uh, some of the different and interesting things that we'll be able to do because the scene will be isolated in a basement scenario, so it could get a little more complex and fall outside of the normal scene rules that we follow for game lore and things like that. So there'll be more on the background for this, but basically there's a backstory that why they're called pocket universes, and it may or may not have something to do with future uh, episodic type of content. So I'll just leave it at that. May or may not, but we shall see. Um, I'll just say that Richard and I have been talking about this stuff, and this is something about basically probably episode 3 through 5 that there'll be a backstory, an arcing backstory that's going to be introduced. So a lot of work. We're trying to catch up with getting episode 2 done. As you guys know, we are very short on resources, so it's taking a lot longer than anybody would ever imagine for this stuff to get completed. But we do have plans in place for what we want to do with episode 3 that would actually be able to allow us to escalate the time frame for it. But I want to get episode 2 done, and then we'll go into the episode 3 scenario as well. And once we start episode 3, the initial elements of the story arc would be introduced through episode 3, and then it'll get more prevalent in 4, and then of course 5 being the climax of the story. So, um, all right. So, um, let's see. What else do I have? Do, do, do. Okay, yeah, that's a big one there. So, all right, I'm gonna look at Ask Devs. I saw one just come in. All right, so where are we at on information gathering for rebalance? So that is going to take a while. So should you craft more than normal to aid? You guys play as you normally would. Nothing is going to change anytime soon. What I've said in the forums, and I will be updating that thread whenever we have new information, is that once we get done with the first phase, which is data collection, then we have to go through and look at it and start to go through and figure out what we're going to do. What needs to be done, I should say. Then I'll update that thread and we'll talk more about it. But we're definitely, based on the resources that we have to do the collection and work on this. It's not like we have somebody that we could dedicate to that project. If we did have somebody we could dedicate to that project, then we would. It would be quicker. But based on what we're doing, we're load balancing that in with everything else. We're doing a lot of data collection, the spreadsheet crunching that's going on, and then we'll get back to you guys and let you know what happens there. So like that right now, I wouldn't worry at all as far as time frames concerned. It's going to be months before we can even get the spreadsheet in front of ourselves to start looking at it. Um, and again, I know some people have said it's like, well, why would the devs even talk about this until they actually have it all done and say, okay, poof, we're going to do do the changes. Well, because you guys have been riding along in this community for a long time, and you've been here through the development of the game. Um, and the voices have been, and myself as a player had been saying for years about certain things being way out of whack and, needing to be addressed and everything. And Portalarium had definitely done a rush job of getting things into the game. So they, uh, in a lot of cases, the overall balance, the worksheet was not made, and they weren't really seeing all the stuff. Hey, how's it going, man? So
Hey,
Sannio has joined us.
hey, I
Hey,
am having a terrible problem with one of my monitors.
oh,
It has a really bad connection. There's like a special adapter that tries to connect to it, and it keeps flickering off. Half the time, it's crazy green squiggle lines. I have two monitors, and one of them works great. The other one has a bad wire, whatever.
mm.
I ordered a new one.
Oh, okay,
Come next week.
cool,
Sometimes I can wiggle it, and it comes in perfect,
yeah,
and then it just goes away. It just keeps doing it. It's awful.
lovely.
It's a struggle.
All right, so I was in the middle of talking about some stuff. Of course,
Enough.
where was I, guys? Oh yeah, all right. Rebalance. So yeah, we were just talking about rebalance and stuff, and
Yeah.
we're way ways off before we could actually implement anything. So there's 10 years worth of stuff to go through. I mean, if you go in items alone, I think we're approaching 20,000 items in the game, and then of course you have skills and everything like that. But right now, to make it the simplest thing to delve into this initially, we're just talking about, crafting, right? So just the crafting
Yeah.
system. So, and even just with the crafting system, you're talking about thousands of items. So, hundreds, if not 1,000 recipes. I'm not even sure how many recipes are in the game at this point. So
Yeah.
that's the whole point of this. We're basically going back and reverse engineering to make design documents. Yes, so, if the I will say that I'm not gonna say that there were no design documents. I've as a player I've said that because outside, but after the Portalarium purge, I think that a lot of the design documents were on individual PCs. Um,
I'm gonna say
so
I'm gonna spill the tea
mhm,
that I work for a lot of game companies. Very few people do solid design docs. Very few.
yep,
I like doing it. I'm a designer, so
hmm
some of it doesn't matter. You really want the programmers to do it because they're the ones who you want the designer to set up something that's going to be shared and like it's a foundation for something to write a full. Here's how it needs to work, and then you want a programmer to say like, here's how I worked it. Here's some behind the scenes hooks and details and stuff that some future programmers and designers will need to know about,
hmm
and maybe here's a lot of screenshots, pictures. It doesn't always happen. It often doesn't happen. A lot of stuff is created bare bone structure. Does it work? Yes. Okay, let's incrementally add to it, and everyone sort of kind of knows the special voodoo that goes into it. If you're lucky, you can you'll have like well, we use Jira. Other companies use different things, but you'll have like these sort of to-do list software that everyone kind of uses, and hopefully you'll be able to sort of like look at that and realize how things work. We used to use when it was a Portalarium, we used the programmers used Confluence to do a lot of stuff. Some of them, like you said, they had their own sort of personal docs. Sometimes we use uh, something like Google Docs. Like as a designer, I was using Google
hmm
Docs a lot.
right,
The programmers didn't really use that. So we had a couple of different areas with all these things, and we also had like some shared hard drives that don't exist anymore that were like archive drives for notes and things.
yep, exactly. It's a
And it's not
decentralized.
uncommon. It's not a
hmm
Portalarium thing.
Yeah, it
It
wasn't it
is a
wasn't
game
unique,
industry thing.
right? And yeah, as being, I mean, I've
You're lucky if 20% of the game's documented.
I've been a programmer since well, since I was 12, but obviously 12 years old, you're not exactly looking at design documents and anything like that either. But I started out as a game developer when I was 18, and had my own company and did a bunch of stuff, and then migrated over into business software for quite some time, and then went on to do other things, but then circled back in 2011, 2011, 2012. I think it was 20.
I'll
Yeah,
say a lot of
towards.
times when it's
Yeah,
when it's a business thing, like money related, companies, in-game store kind of stuff. That stuff is usually uh, uh, everyone's usually pretty good with documenting all that stuff.
yeah,
It's important. Everyone kind of needs to know it. You got to keep it up to date. That's usually pretty good. But
right,
like
right.
it's like the I don't
Yeah.
know, conversation stuff, spawn stuff. A lot of stuff is considered like a little small thing, and you'll figure it out as you go. But the thing is, they're usually part of a bigger picture. And uh, I've always been crazy with like writing up little how-to docs for myself. Usually, I end up sharing it with people. Then I sort of end
Hmm.
up being like a squad leader
Yeah,
of
exactly,
design.
right. Even when I mean, I decided to get back into game development in 2011, and it was towards the end of 2011 that I got involved with Elder Scrolls Online, when it was just basically, well, there wasn't even a room yet. It's like the chicken room aspect for that
Right,
wasn't
right.
even built yet. But I assisted in developing the Lua library. Structure and everything, the API for that. And when I started doing add-ons, I published out PORs, plan of records, and that's design docs. And so even when I do things, I try to document as well. Keith is actually really good at that, documenting things. And I've gone in, jumping ahead to now. I have gone into Confluence, reorganized it a bit, because even with the stuff that was all being put in Confluence, it was still kind of like somebody putting up a page over here, and some things were in personal spaces,
Yeah,
some of them were in public spaces. So I've reorganized a bunch of that, and we started documenting things like there are definitely things that are still kind of mysteries as to how they were done back in the day,
yeah,
8 years ago. One of them is the interface between the game and the website, and how things are delivered to how they're delivered to players' accounts. Not a mystery anymore. I figured it out. I worked with Tassilo on this. I documented everything, and we
yeah.
cleaned up a lot of mistakes and missing codes and things like that for offers. So going forward, that's one of the things I've been wanting to do, and it's definitely a lot more legwork than I thought it was going to be, to um, be able to put things on sale during a stream, right? Go up on the web, and you'll have like a nice, like, deep discount on specific items during the live stream. And I have to do a lot of work to prep that up, because all the base prices that are up on the cash shop on the website now are way out of whack. They won't translate to the Kodo prices in the Crown Store at all. So I have to realign all that stuff first. And there's thousands of items that are missing, because when the website store was brought offline, all the new items that were put into the Crown Shop, none of that work for the website was actually done. So that has to be done, and so it's going to be
I
a
had, a,
little bit of a crawl.
I had a player message me. I won't say the name because it private messaged me in the game, but they sort of add to the conversation. What you are talking about seems to be why the older a game gets, the more it becomes a can of worms, and one small change has massive effects to the other seemingly non-related areas. That's exactly true.
Yep.
Everything starts off small and modular, and that sounds great. And then you incrementally add little bits over time, and then you realize you need a special exception for something, and that special exception has to sort of touch some other system. Not a big deal. Someone later on doesn't realize what the setup was, and they see how A touches B. They go, "Oh, I could do that. I'll have C touch D," and they don't do it the way they didn't realize it was inherent. It wasn't inherent in the system. They hook it up, it doesn't work exactly right, and then other people say like, "Well, we wouldn't have done what you did, but I see what you did, and we actually kind of need it. I realize, so we need to make sure yours works just like the first one did." And so they sort of like, reconnect that, in a way that makes sense, and just keeps like adding and adding, and everything is probably like okay on its own, but all together as a whole, it becomes very delicate.
Yeah. Absolutely. So,
And especially of course, like over time, you want to sort of push. You want to continue to push the limits. Like we have like Jotengrind. It's a huge scene, and you would think there's nothing special. It's just the normal NPCs and places to go and things to kill and whatever. And it's just bigger than normal, except it's too big, and so we had to do special things to make it work. And
mhm,
we had to sort of like anyway, it became complicated. And then there's also
yeah,
like pot templates. Pot templates, you know, we know what has to go in a pod template. We know where the data goes, but there was some magical something in between that I don't know what it is. To so I don't like today. I could not make a new pod template. I'd have to do some research to see how it
yep,
is.
exactly.
And there's no like doc that says, "Hey, 5 or 10 years from now, future developer, here's how you make a new pod template." As
Mhm.
far as I know, that's not there. It might be there, but I'd
Nope,
have to research.
it's not. I looked. And that's one of the mysteries that we was talking about, right? So I figured out
Yeah.
stuff about the web store, things like that, on the list of things to do, which is based on the conversation I was having with these kind of folks here before you showed up. About the small basement templates that we're talking about putting together. So it ties in. Is we want to be able to make new pot templates as well, and that process has to be reverse engineered and then documented. So that's the whole point of this Confluence thing is that it's the repository for it should be it's supposed to be the official repository for all these processes, and I've been going in there as well as Allium and Laney and everybody, Sannio as well, is we've been reviewing, refreshing, and documenting processes in that repository, so that way we can have something for the future. And it also allows for other devs on the team to be able to pick something up and work on it to better load balance our workload. Yeah.
I
So.
remember I'm reminded of in Valhold when you go inside the castle and there's a certain story event that happens there,
Mhm.
and uh, some of the state changes that go on there were not documented, and so with for a while, probably too long, Granis was instead of like in his leaning back in his stupor, he was like standing up when you come in, and I didn't know how to fix it. Uh, what it turned there's a couple other things that are sort of similar, but it turns out researching it, the the gimmick that we use to make a compass marker light up isn't just for compass markers. It also can force a state change on an NPC, assuming certain criteria are met. And I had no idea. Like this is there's no hints in the tools that we use. There was no documentation that I was given when I was, you know, trained to do the quest stuff. I wasn't the first quest guy. When I was trained to do quest stuff, that wasn't part of it. I was given a bunch of docs from the original quest guy that had descriptions. None of that was in there, so I had no idea. And someone gave me the hint about what it might have been Allium, maybe. I don't know, but once that like once I did a couple of tests and saw what the changes, like it was it's an awesome thing to happen. I just wish it was written down somewhere, and I wrote it down, and so now I know how to do it in the future.
If if it was me, then it was purely accidental because I don't remember this at all.
It was somebody, one of you guys said something. I don't remember exactly who it was or what was said, but somebody sparked something in my head, like where it was similar. Maybe it was also um, what's his name on the Path of Love, the uh, the Vizier guy, the the Razor.
Men.
Yeah, uh, he is an NPC in a tavern in a public space that presents as Min or presents as an alternate character, depending upon where you might be in the quest.
Oh, this
And
I do remember. It's the
yeah,
same
so that
artwork.
was yeah. So it's the same gimmick. So this thing that sort of makes a compass marker appear controlled which version he was, and I just had no idea that that was in effect. And even more importantly, I thought a character had to appear in a certain way to everyone. But there's a behind the scenes miracle where the character appears one way to one player on the quest state and a different way to another player who's on a different state of the quest.
In the same instance, yeah.
Yeah, right there, out in the open, the public Arteris. Arteris, but like right in front of everyone. It's a miracle. Miracle mod science. I had no idea. Anyway,
Yep.
You're reminding me of these hidden voodoo magical things.
You gotta be kidding me.
Plus, my
So what I
monitor.
miss?
Every time I wiggle my camera, by the way, I'm trying to adjust the cable there. I can kind of, nope, it's gone again. Never mind. I'm gonna keep my hands off. Forget it. Oh, so frustrating. I should just plug and go back to one monitor.
No, you need one of these big monitors I have. That's what you need.
Yeah. I may need a third monitor. 4 monitors.
Yeah,
That's just a 25% problem. It's not a 50% problem.
Yeah. Well, that's what I got. I got 4 monitors. I actually no matter how many monitors I add to my pile of monitors that are on this machine, I always need one more, no matter what I do.
I'm usually good with 2 for work stuff, maybe some personal stuff. But usually my monitor, here's how I set it up. So usually my monitor on the left is like my big game window or editing window. And then on the right, I have where I'm typing stuff. So it could be like our internal messenger. It could be this, the Twitch window. It could be like a little notepad thing. All this sort of stuff I just need to sort of like type in or view as it goes on. That's in the right side. And the left side is like the game. So on the left side, I'm in Castle Atos with you standing next to you. I'm doing a little spin right now. I'll switch to juggling these pink glowy things. And then
let me interrupt you for one second. 1 second. Sorry.
I can't see any of the normal text stuff. Yeah, I got it.
Sorry. Yeah, it's bad point there, but just want to remind everybody, I sent out a message in game, but just to say, if you're not in game, get in game and say happy birthday, Lord British, in any chat in the game. We will be doing a drawing in 3 minutes, and I'm sure we'll be here for some time, so we'll probably do another drawing a little while after that. But if you haven't said happy birthday, Lord British in game yet, say it now, so that way you could get into the drawing. Go ahead, Keith. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's it. I was pretty much done.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see. There's still a couple of things I wanted to address in what these guys were saying. Let's see. One person about was mentioning some stuff about AI. What I say right now, I shouldn't say right now. We don't really have any plans or intention of using AI as. You have to be careful about this because I mean, the NPCs have AI, but it's AI that we wrote. It's scripting that we wrote for behaviors in the game and everything. All these games have some level of AI in them, but
when an NPC knows they can open a door or chase you or attack you,
right,
the basic level of
they could
NPC
interact
AI.
with their environment. They could see things and everything like that.
There's an older usage of the term AI.
Exactly right, and that's why I want to make it clear because we all know our community is a little bit nitpicky about things. So just to say, the current
machine learning is like I like the new terms that people are using to split up what AI means. So machine learning, we don't have any of that. Machine learning is usually what people get concerned about because, if an AI service can give you a picture based upon a description, it used machine learning to learn how to make that picture.
Right.
Hopefully with permission of the artists that of the source material.
Yeah.
But often not. So that is the problem. Not. I would say the problem is not the machine learning, but the fact that they took art without permission and used it to.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's basically.
And actually, I say art, but it could be just text, by the way. So text, answering questions, whatever.
Exactly. Coming up with quest text or whatever it is. So that's the point, is that we have no intention of ever using, we'll say, machine learning or external AI engines to add content into the game in any way, shape, or form, artwork or otherwise.
I would tell you, I would kind of like some. I'll tell you what I would like. As the quest guy and the NPC conversation guy, it would be nice. So right now, it takes me time to give an NPC a hello response or a bye response. And I give them, they all have at least one. Sometimes they have 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever. And I manually type those in. Sometimes I put in like variables so it can call you Outlander or by your name if it knows your name. So that's okay. It's kind of neat. Works well. But if we had like a machine learning AI sort of system that allowed it, that I can give it rules for how it can talk to you, like say I apply, I don't know, let's call tags. I apply pirate tags to these guys, so everything they know to say hello, but they say it with the pirate slant and whatever the pirate rules are, and someone else is the high noble accent or verbiage. And you know, I could apply tags to NPCs, and they could sort of dynamically create their own responses, and effectively instead of like 5 responses, they could have like 100 or 1,000 possible combinations. So that, and I didn't have to type it all or enter it in or anything. That would be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's another thing is like procedural dungeons. I would love to do procedural dungeons, but I don't see it in a practical way how that would be beneficial, you know, like in our game, as it were, is that would mean that every time you go into a dungeon, it's different, you know, because it's being generated using RNG. And I would guess some people in our community would even say that if we use soda and RNG, that the dungeons would be like really horrible. But
I
anyway.
think a procedural dungeon. So we obviously have a storyline and some fixed points of interest in a lot of places,
Mhm.
but but something like a say a PvP, like a, where is it, Artis? We have the PvP team based arena. It'd be nice if we had something like that, but a procedural dungeon. I guess it could be a little different every time. That's okay. It's not story critical.
Mhm.
I think that would be okay.
Right, right, yeah. And say, I mean, I'd love to do something like that. And again, that wouldn't really be along the lines of something where we would have to avoid anything because we're not. The things that are bad about AI, in my opinion, are, you know, where, like I said, it's going out and it's sourcing, you know, like for artwork, it's sourcing things across the internet, you know, and all these different places that these people don't necessarily give permission for this type of thing to be done. The
Yeah,
AI itself does not know about copyrights. It doesn't know what to look for or whatever. I
yeah.
can imagine that there'll be a day when all image formats are required to have copyright information embedded in them, which is not good. But you know, it's sadly just because you can think of something doesn't mean you should do it. That's really what it comes down to.
So
But
another good thing, another good way we can use it. You got me thinking now. Another good way we can use it to get the insights of the designer's mind is imagine like a random encounter that was like a 4-building village.
mhm,
So we tell this AI system, uh, here's how we construct our buildings, and here's how we populate it with props. And here is, I want you to put 4 buildings in this random encounter, uh, randomize the props, and put NPCs in, maybe with like some of the randomized dialogue, like I was saying before. And also, we're going to have our standard fight scene wave battle or whatever is in there. And I think that would be kind of cool too, like
yeah,
help to randomize a lot of the contents. But you have to be careful because in games like ours and some other games, every time you randomize something, really what you're doing is you're putting multiple items on top of each other, stacked there
mhm,
in the scene, and only one of them appears. But you also have like, you know, 2 or 10 or 50 other items invisible right there. They're disabled and you can't see them.
right,
But the one random winner is the one you see. But the ones you can't see probably aren't uh, slowing down the system too much. But the more you add, the more it slow down the whole game experience.
yeah. No, this is true.
Pluses
It,
and minuses all over.
Yeah, and in a client server situation, the server would have to be the one that's actually determining what's going to be visible. So the client has to have all those extra images in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff involved with
Yeah.
that. So
Then you factor in is blocking NPC movement, like
mhm.
navigation is like a huge thing.
Right. So one aspect of the AI thing I was looking at, and actually Star and I were talking about this. Um, some of these engines can be actually localized into an intranet, which would mean that it can only source information from our own libraries and our own, you know, our own data that's searched. So, like, let's say our own artwork or whatever. Um, and the concept there was specifically for loading screens. I wanted to experiment with that. I still haven't actually gotten it accomplished because of time, but that's a non-dangerous one. If I'm actually going back and I'm just taking our um, existing concept artwork and then I run AI against that, then I own the IP for all this. So I don't have to worry about conflicts or, copyrights or anything like that. Then I only have to worry about some stupid stuff that the AI did, where it has like, hands with 7 fingers or whatever, and then
Yeah.
still have to go back in there and manually, do the brushwork in Photoshop. So, I
This
mean,
could be dangerous if it's linked to our internal chat. We spitball some stupid things.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, no,
I
this is
definitely call out some of my stuff. Here's another stupid idea.
yeah,
Here's another idea we shouldn't do. I preface a lot of my stuff that way.
right. Yeah. I mean, if I did this, this is literally a thing where I'd have a folder with the artwork that I wanted to pull from, and then it would be sit there and have, even with everything, even with the new machines that I have, it would still have to chug away for God knows how long, to cough up something, and then that something may just not be usable anyway. So the point is, it's probably not worth it, So, um, so uh, to slightly change this, I mean, one question that came up here in Ask a Dev was, um, may we hope for finishing episode 2 story this year? And if not, may we hope for receiving early access to story? It says art. I'm sure he meant arc.
Parks, yes.
Yeah, following the end of episode 1. But the bottom line here, and this is one of the drawbacks of the way that Shadow of the Avatar has been developed, is that as things are done, they're put in front of the players. So there is no big giant package reveal at the end, which in my opinion sucks because, I mean, obviously the amount of time that it's taken to get episode 2 to where it is now. Is a lot longer than one would hope. And again, resources and the size of our team and the income that the game is getting and everything, it's all relative. So it is what it is. But the thing is that we have been working on episode 2, and quests are being put in and everything. The content and the scenes are being put in. And that work continues. It's just slow. So when that's done, and I'm going to let Sannio speak to some of this in a little bit here too as well. But when that's done, it's going to be anticlimactic because you guys have seen it all. We'll just come out and say, okay, there's episode 2. It's done with this release. We now have the coup de grace, whatever it is, scene, and then it's going to be nobody's going to realize that they've been playing it for all this time. So go ahead, Sannio. I'm sure you'll have some impact on aspect on this.
Yeah. So the short answer. So he's talking about the story specifically, like quests and stuff, not necessarily scenes. The short answer is, will the whole of episode 2 storyline be done by the end of this year? I'm going to say no. I'm the only one working on that story, and it's slow going. However, you also asked, will it be? You basically asked, will there be other story arcs that's sort of a part of it? Not in episode 1, but I'll still do little sort of conversational based interactions, like we did. What was the thing we did with? Oh, I had it and I lost it. Oh, little things like NPCs that can point you to a Sultan. Why would we point people to Sultan?
So Well, you mean like cross-episode interaction, so like the
Yeah.
treasure hunter stuff.
There's the inventory tutorial with the and the helper
Right.
automaton that will let
Yeah.
you go to that space. But anyway, the more important thing is I've been working on a. I had envisioned the episode 2 storyline basically in 4 chunks, 4 I guess smaller story arcs that sort of like lead one to the other. And uh, the we were putting all the scenes in place. There's still other scenes that I would want there. We were putting other scenes in place and putting in local quests that related to that scene and its people. So we had Spindleskog quests, and we had Port Harmony quests, and we had Vickling quests, and all those was roughly self-contained within that scene and maybe nearby scenes that people cared about. For example, like in Tanglemire, you would get a quest to go chat with a guy at the start of Spindleskog, and he could give you its own quest. So that was, sometimes we link scenes, a pair of scenes together or something like that.
Hey,
There's obviously Grusk and Grusk Factory.
I'm not going to interrupt you, but I'm just gonna say I'm running
Yeah.
the prize innings now because I'm 10 minutes late in doing that.
Okay. It was also Port Harmony Cistern. So a lot of times I like to do the pairing of things. Vickland doesn't have a paired scene, but it's got the Obsidian Valley that was like a extension of that scene itself. It's hard to get to and it's quest related. So anyway, so the first chunk, the first story arc of the 4 that I had in mind was based around Cantabria, which was mostly Port Harmony and the Outlaws Run. There wasn't a lot of connection there. Sometimes I talk about the Outlaws and the Outlaws Run, and you might do a quest or 2 from Port Harmony that talks about it. So what I've been working on is a quest that sort of like, kind of wraps that up. It's like a bookend quest, a wrap up quest, and it follows the plan I had from the start, which is each of those local scenes, the Port Harmony, Vickland, Tanglemire, they have their NPCs have track a renown scorpion. So there's like a Tanglemire renown, there's a Port Harmony renown. Not a big deal. It's not used for anything special as far as the player is concerned, but it's for me to track quests. I didn't want your quest experience to be linear through episode 2 or fully linear. I wanted to branch out and then contract to a gating point and then branch out again. And the way it branches out is up to you. So in this end cap quest, basically you have to have done 2 quests in Port Harmony of any quests of Port Harmony. And then also there's 2 specific quests that sort of like set the stage a little bit for this finale thing. It's not a big finale. It's not like it's like a big battle scene or anything like that. It's not like a massive you versus an army, but you will, if you have done the prerequisite number of quests in the 2 specific ones specifically, then you will be able to pick up another quest from the Minister of the Hearth, Verity Webb, and then you'll sort of go in there. I don't want to say too much about it. It's not available on QA yet, but when I get the thumbs up, Stephen, I guess, then we will make that available on QA, and you'll be able to play through it. Hopefully, you don't. Not that it's a big spoiler, but you don't want to necessarily share it with everyone. You want to post it all over the place. Let some people have some fun finding out the answers themselves.
Right.
So that's something I've worked on recently.
Exactly. Yep. Cool.
There you go.
All right. So I think there's more stuff in here to talk about too. Let me see. I keep losing channels. Yeah, how
I see Endarkwood asked in the Twitch chat, will it be possible to extend the time to get fireworks? The first of certain months just plain stinks.
So
it's it's not exactly every other month, but it is 6 times a year. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is only on that one day then?
No, it's the
That's
whole month.
yeah, it's I think the way he's wrote that, I think he thinks it's only on the first. And
So there you go.
because there is a note either in the description of the item or somewhere that says that it refills on the first, but it's just meaning that that's when it refills after that. So if you have a refillable one of those what do you call it?
Yeah, you can click it anytime within that calendar
Yeah,
month.
right. You can only click it once. After that, then it won't give you any more. But that's intended. So
Oh, so maybe he's asking, can it refill more frequently?
maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. But no, but the fireworks are available very cheaply in the Crown Store, and there's a lot of them too, and there's more coming in. There's
But
actually a
when you click on one, you're not sort of resetting all of them at the same time. It's just that one. So
yeah,
Right.
if you have several of these fireworks things, you can sort of plan in your head, like, okay, I'm going to use these for this week, this for the next week, and you sort of stagger your refreshing so that way
right,
you can sort of manage your fireworks a little bit more, uh,
exactly, right.
dole it out over the month.
Or you could get more fireworks from other players who have too many.
Yeah, because there are a ton of fireworks in the game. We've found we just recently did an audit, thanks to Laney, that did an intensive audit on the fireworks, and we found ones that were not working, that were never implemented. There was a big, I guess we only can assume that back in the port days that somebody was getting a project to do a wide range of fireworks and stuff, and um, it's a project that got halfway done basically. Um, so we're fixing all that stuff up, things that were any of the missing pieces to that stuff, and getting it all into the crown shop and all that neat stuff like that. So um,
Belladonna Rose says that kid in Port Harmony that gets you to beat up the guard was the best ever. So thanks. I try to make sure that net every quest is obviously a good guy quest. I'm not into like you being like brutal and horrific in quests. I don't want to really give you that choice. I do want to give you a choice that's clearly not the heroic choice though, like that. So thanks for. I'm glad you like it.
cool.
And
So
yes,
let's
there
see.
is already a Lord British cake in the store. If you want to open the store to recent items there.
Oh, yeah, sure. Dun, dun, dun. Come on, store recently added. There we are. And there's the cake. So this is the 2024 version of the Lord British birthday cake, which of course I mentioned earlier on that we will be having a special stream on the 12th. Uh, in about 2 weeks, right? With Lord British in attendance, and we're going to do some stuff and give away things and have all sorts of fun. So a bunch of extra devs are going to be hopefully on the stream as well, and that'll be an extended stream beyond the extension of this stream, which we definitely have a lot of information to talk about and everything. We're now 18 minutes overdue in giving away prizes. So let's give away prizes.
Before you that, Belladonna Rose also says, "Can't wait to confront the fake avatar. This should be interesting." I don't know why you calling her fake.
Yeah. What makes you think she's fake? Maybe
Everyone in
you're the
Port
faker.
Harmony knows that Peregrine's a real avatar. She said it herself.
Yeah.
So you guys are calling it out. I can't. Well, actually, I can see it this way if you need my help. I don't know if I could read it well, but
Okay. Give me a second to get back to that channel now. Okay. All right. Good. Oh, did it only do the one?
I only see. I don't.
Yeah, you only see one, right?
Yep.
No,
All right.
one set. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then that means sometimes it just doesn't kick it for some reason. It runs successfully, but doesn't pop it. So doing that again. So we get the second one. All right, and let me close this and go over here.
And Darkwood says, when can we deal with the Avatar imposter? Maybe you're the imposter. Maybe every single one of you are the imposter. You ever think about that?
Or they're all the Avatar. It's like Spartacus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to write it in a way that I'm not deciding for you what the truth is. The NPCs, each NPC has their perspective. You have your perspective. Any of these perspectives are legitimate. Maybe one of them's right. Maybe they're all right. Maybe none of them are right. But I like to write it as though everyone believes what they believe. And then, of course, in the back of my mind, I kind of know what I think the truth is. If there is indeed a truth that is not obvious.
Now there's the second prize.
Yep. All right. So we're ready now. Okay.
I didn't get it. Oh, there it goes.
Yep.
I'm looking on my phone to see the prizes.
Gotcha. Okay.
I would like to say the name of the prize, if that's okay. That would be easier for me.
Go for it.
All right. The first one is the Crafting Sigil Tapestry.
And that goes to Cricket Mossy Curl and Foxy Villaci.
Nice. Congratulations.
That's someone who got him renaming.
Ah.
The second one is the Brass Single Hitching Post. Is that the new one?
Yeah, that's one of the
new ones. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you show it off yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
But we could go back there and look at it again as well.
Brass Single Hitching Post. Who gets that?
That goes to Shatul Avantari and Kolahari.
Well, that's new. Kalahari's just a few days old.
Nice.
Congratulations.
And thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Flaming Bagpipes. Flaming Bagpipes.
Yep, and there's I'm using those right now on the screen. So I couldn't make them work before. Okay, the Flaming Bagpipes goes to Genie UK and Litharian Silvermane.
The fourth item is the Barbecue Smoker Cooking Station.
That goes to Blackbeard and Ford Daniels.
I love that we have an alternative cooking station. I like that we have any alternative crafting stations.
We do. Actually, we have more than one. There's 3 other cooking stations besides the main one.
Yeah.
We should branch out for the other ones.
Yeah.
Those are great because you can kind of sort of have any shape. Whereas something like the tailoring thing, you kind of need the specific.
Right.
With that. I don't even remember the names of stuff.
With
all the stuff
it leans over the loom. Yeah, the loom and stuff. Yeah.
And anyway, so the fifth item is the 3-story Viking crafting pavilion. That's a big one.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is huge. In fact, I am going to head over there right now. Low level.
So who got it?
That went to Straya and Seal Astra. And
congratulations, everyone.
Yep. That's a village lot home for that one. And here we are. Okay. So now on screen, I'm in the decoration station here. And this is the one that we got.
A couple of people had mentioned the fake avatar. If you didn't know, if you don't have episode 2, in Port Harmony, there's a character in there. It's a woman. She's hanging out in the tavern. She's sort of super cash. It's very confident in herself, and she said she's the avatar, and everyone so far is believing her. So that's what we're talking about. I don't want you to feel like you're left out and not know what's going on. And her name is Peregrine, the one true avatar, she says. Oh, there's the bagpipes right there.
Yep.
pretty good looking. I like that fire. That it kind of spits it out.
Yeah,
It's not just fire; it actually is shooting out.
Yeah.
And there's the cooking station.
Please don't cook while playing the bagpipes.
And there's the hitch right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were all surprised that there wasn't a single hitch in the game. We have the double hitch that's similar to this.
Yeah, that one wasn't too hard to make, so.
And a craftable one.
And a craftable one, that's right, yep. Which I don't,
Have handy.
yeah.
Are you on QA? Because the box with all the stuff should still be right there.
No, I'm on live.
Okay.
And that is the 3-story Viking crafting pavilion that you're standing next to.
Yes.
That's the big structure. For those that didn't know, that big building he's next to is the big prize from today.
Get this off me.
What was the other one? What was the one missing? Oh, the sigil.
The sigil.
Tapestry. Oh, that's on the wall.
Right. There, throw that on the ground. Yeah, and the sigil is right here. I've resized it to be a little bit smaller. It's actually could be a little bit bigger than this. So it just doesn't really fit well on the
Oh yeah, clips through.
on the crafting pavilion. So yeah, and this this crafting pavilion is 3 stories. So you got 2 good open floor plan stories for all your crafting needs or whatever. And then there's a attic type of scenario up here.
I can't remember if I put this in some NPC town. I think I did. I don't remember which one though. But it's a similar structure to the other crafting pavilion, so I could be mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, this is another
Like,
one that I would like to see more versions of crafting pavilions in the game.
In Celestis, when it first was created, and even after it was revised, it had the old style crafting pavilion, like the 1-level one, but we needed more space, and I switched it for the perennial coast style. I don't know what we call it, Shogun style.
Yeah, Shogun.
A lot of times I'll never remember. I'll never even know what the public-facing name of the thing is.
Hmm.
You know, I know what we'll call it behind the scenes, and sometimes I'll remember what the name of the object is in the game, in the project. But as far as like the display name, I often don't know. It doesn't come up for me when I place things as a developer. When you place as a player, you get to see these names. You know, you're reminded of what the name is. But
Right.
I never,
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not using the asset; you're just using the prefab. So.
Yeah.
You've been asked if it's possible to jump out the 3rd floor window.
I do not believe it is. I was trying to do it.
I think it's too tight.
Yeah.
I think it's just a little bit too tight.
Just a little bit.
And when I say a little bit too tight, I wonder if you had like a smaller character. Like I know our caps adjust a little bit. If you have a smaller character, I wonder if you can jump out.
No, if you have a smaller character, it still has the same collision.
What does it? Okay. What if you shrink with one of your rings or whatever?
Nope, still the same.
Oh, good.
I actually
good
wish that you could do that. I have the same thing with my Shogun Village house. I can jump off the 2nd floor balcony, but the 3rd one is just a little bit too tight. So I shoved a gust ball tower through the roof so I could climb the ladder and then jump off that.
So a lot of games, and I wish they didn't, but a lot of games will actually have different size collisions depending upon how your character gets resized, and I wish they didn't. One for PvP, I think you should have a standard collision size or volume at any rate. You know, I guess if you're going to shrink a guy a little bit, they should sort of thicken up a little bit. So the sort of overall targeting is good. But as a level designer and quest guy, I learned a long time ago to always test with the largest character, because I need to make sure that I can get through any tight space with like a worst case scenario character.
Making it too realistic is a problem on the smaller end too. It used to be that we had avatars jump length based on their height, which makes sense for stride length.
Yeah.
But there was a room in the original compendium that required you to jump over a little gap to the starting point for that room, and none of the short avatars could make the jump.
I did not like our jump when it was first in the game. Like I wasn't part of the game when it first was created. I was just a player, pay for a Kickstarter pledge like everyone else, and then eventually I joined the team. And like one of the first things, I don't know if it was in the interview or like the first day, they're like, "Oh, what are some of the things? Do you have any critiques about the game?" Like, I hate jump. I hate that I have to charge up my jump, and the jump only happens when I take my finger off. And then I had another short list of like little nitpicky things like that. And I guess I was so convincing that they soon changed jump to just jump when you want it. I could see how the charging was okay, because the more you charge it, the further you jump. If you charge all the way, you jump further. But I said, like, this is only like, I don't know, in game terms, is it like a 4-inch difference? Who cares? Like, why are you trying to get this realistic? It's just annoying. It annoyed me. I was enraged.
Yeah. I was trying to reply back to Belladonna here, but I still have a problem with my friggin' interactivity. My integration with Twitch is not working correctly in Streamlabs. So she said water troughs are not pot decoable, by the way. So I said if it's not in the wish list, please add that, and if it is in the wish list, please tag me in that thread, and we'll get that done.
No need for that. I'm just going to go straight to it, because if hitching posts are pot decoable, that should be consistent.
Yes, yeah, and I think they are. They should be, and if they aren't, they should be anyway. So.
Yep. So I'm going to get that.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome.
I was scrolling up the chat and I see Pack Attack said, "Sorry for the noob question. Where do you get your inspirations for quests from? And do you respect the original story and lore of Ultima?" So I get it from anywhere and everywhere. If you've been working on the game long enough, you probably have like a lot of hooks and things that you can build on. Like, if I know, I know the Norgard people have sort of a Norse Scandinavian sort of thing. So sometimes I can sort of build it on that. Just I could decide for myself. Okay, they live in harsh environments. They're about self-sufficiency. War and aggression is a natural part of life for them. So I get some elements, and then I can sort of make up something. I know the kobolds are into gadgets. So a lot of their quests, like if you have episode 2, you go to Grust, their quests are like gadget based. Like there's one with like a sort of a Ben Franklin kite sort of situation, where you're trying to sort of like fly a kite up into the sky and get a little electrical charge and sort of bring back some results. So things like that. I know the theme of the people, so something sort of comes to me. Sometimes I might know something about the area, and I will base something on the area. Sometimes I know in the episode 2 scenes, as we're sort of coming up with them, I wanted to push like a high fantasy sort of concept. So we have the Obsidian Panopticon, which is hanging. Which is a prison that's just hanging in the freezing valley. We have the Outlaws Run, which has a magical hedge maze where the maze sort of switches around. And so things like that. And then in Port Harmony, I wanted it to be a nice, clean place. And then from clean, I'm thinking, okay, they probably have like a lot of good water management. So outhouses or bathrooms are sort of clean. The whole city is clean, even though still under construction. And then it sort of came up with the cistern. And then sort of a main character is Jenkins, the watersmith. And then so as I'm doing the first quest, like, okay, I know I want you to meet Jenkins. She's the watersmith. Let's have something with water, pipes, just working on something, then you got to throw in the obstacles. Like, okay, one of the pipes is like in the jail area, so you got to get permission to go back in there. And so now you interact with the guards, and I kind of know how the guards are, the Rangers of Port Harmony. So that's how some of this stuff works. Sometimes though, so that's why if I'm thinking of stuff and I'm building on the game, that's how that works. You know, I come up with a thing I want in the game, or that I know the type of people, and I build on that. Other times, I play tons of games outside of Shadow of the Avatar, like every game designer, I guess. And sometimes I think, oh, I like that. What they did there is the spirit of what they did, something I can transfer Shadow of the Avatar, because this game has kind of like a puzzle, and we don't have those puzzle elements. But I liked how they did the three things in this way, and they all kind of linked up. Can I do something like that? Try the Avatar, and if I can, should I? Is there like a quest that's coming up that I want to interact with that? So the bunkers, there's Bunker C, Bunker T, they are not trying to reproduce the vaults from Fallout, but as I'm creating this bunker and I'm putting in stuff that I need in there, I said, well, maybe I can have like in Fallout, there are doors like these big gears that sort of spin off to one side and let you in. Can I have a door that's like roughly circular and spins off to one side? And I was able to do it. It was actually kind of a pain because the timing of the spinning and also moving sort of screwed things up. And then when it resets, it doesn't always reset perfectly how it should be. And then what was the other part? So like the history of like the sort of Ultima sort of stuff. I'm not locked into that. I know we sort of like often pay tribute to it. There are some things like, you know, Avatar and virtues that we can talk about. That's not, it's like open for anyone to use, and we do use that stuff. I definitely like to reference virtuous stuff, like the truth, love, courage specifically. A lot of times when you get a conversation choice, I try to make sure that at least one place in that quest, you get a conversation choice that will affect your virtue score behind the scenes. So we have truth and love and courage. You can get plus or minus. So a standard, a typical conversation choice might be you say the good guy thing. You know, I'm happy to help. Maybe you get some positive love points. And then maybe the next choice is like, I'll help you for money. And because the only way you'll do that is for cash, you know, I might give you, it might be a truth change, because truth is sort of our money connection thing. Or maybe like you're scared or whatever. Maybe you say like, I won't do it alone. So that's sort of like anti-courage. So maybe you get minus courage points. And then the third choice is always like a neutral one where you're like, I have to think about it. So circling back with the character that claims to be the Avatar for Harmony. So obviously our game is around the Avatar. There was an Avatar years ago who's no longer alive. There's a spoiler alert, I guess, but there's a tomb of the Avatar that you go to one spot and learn some things. And so that Avatar is not around anymore. So your character and all the other player characters potentially are the Avatar, for good or for bad. You know, however you want to use your sort of avatarness, you know, it's up to you. Everyone potentially has a claim to it, and it occurred to me as I was making this, like, what can I do that's interesting in this town besides town-specific stuff? Let's sort of make some NPCs in here that or just visiting or whatever. And so I came up with the idea of Peregrine, the one true Avatar, and how she looks. So I made her. I gave her. So I'm not trying to sort of fully reproduce any Avatar of the past, but I know in a lot of the old boxes on the Ultima, the Avatar was blonde, so I made her blonde, and I gave her armor. We don't have armor like, you know, the old Ultima, the Avatar from the old Ultimate stuff with a stranger. But I said, well, I want to sort of like just hint at that or pay tribute to it. So I gave her armor that sort of has similar colorings in the way that we can color armor. So, and if you actually talk to her a little bit, well, she won't talk about, she won't refer to anything specific in those old games. She'll keep everything like internal to our fiction. But you can sense that she doesn't contradict anything that was in any sort of old Ultima or Halibut or anything like that. You know, it's all allowed. It's up to you to decide what's true. Which that, you know, once again, that's a big thing to do. But also in Port Harmony, there's something about a horse that reflects back to like another horse situation from the old Ultima games. You know, sometimes Richard wants to have like a little tribute situation, and so the horse thing was something that like sat for like years because it was kind of incidental. We didn't know how to put it in. Eventually, I was looking through some old JIRAs and my to-do list, and like, what's something we don't really do, and I could actually just put in. Maybe it's a little bit more of an Easter egg than a quest, and the horse thing I put in. So that's some of the thinking, I guess. Hopefully that makes sense.
So I mean, in the overall, we definitely, are aware of and respect the original Ultima lore. Mainly, as Keith was just saying, we actually can't go too deep into it because of ownership from Electronic Arts. So there's IP, intellectual property type of stuff that's involved there. So we could have references to some stuff, which are homages and things along those lines. But you'll see that you'll notice that there are very much there are very little, if any, in-game baked-in direct references to, like, let's say town names and things like that were in the original games. And then going forward, when we get into episode 3, 3, 4, and 5, as I said earlier on stream before Keith, you had joined, that we're looking at story arcs and things like that, and we have outlines for that type of stuff that we're working with Richard on now. So we'll definitely be expanding stuff and introducing new new elements to move forward. So those will build on some of the old Ultima stuff, but it'll be the same type of thing where we have to very carefully make references to things and maybe not use
nothing will
specific
be a direct
names.
sequel, but there's certain
Yeah.
things like, and we've talked about this before. There's certain things like the word avatar is not copyrighted in the way that we've been using it. The word virtues is not. You might also be interested to know that the Lord British character and name is owned by Richard and not any of the any other company or person. So he has allowed, when Lord British shows up in a game, it's because Richard says it's okay. He still owns it. So
Right.
when we have Lord British's castle, that got the thumbs up and approval from Richard.
Yep, that's actually why Star is not Blackthorn in this game, because EA managed to hold on to the rights to Blackthorn, Lord Blackthorn, and that's why he's Dark Star.
Yep.
So some things have had to have changed just because of real world involvement or interference, I guess is what I would say. But
sometimes
yeah.
continuing one request backstory stuff or background, sometimes I like to leave hooks for myself. A hook as in something like I can follow up on later on. So Murphing all the way says, is there a quest planned to find out why there are so many dead kobolds around Grusk? So I don't have a specific follow-up for that, but I kind of know the direction I might go with it. So there is, in the way that I was just saying earlier, that Port Harmony and Outlaws Run in the Cantabria region, they sort of had like a shared quest that is about to sort of like have a wrap up. I had a quest idea or a story arc idea in mind for Grusk that hasn't come up in Grusk. Grusk has like a ton of small little quests that all contribute to and support the culture and the population there and the story themes. But there is so the answer is like, is there a quest planned? No. Are there story ideas in mind? Yes.
Cool. Jumping back to another one. Um, so let's see here. Drizzt asked, would it be beneficial to use things such as GPT to assist with player help and information pulled directly from the wiki? So first thing to say is that just keep in mind that the wiki is actually a player wiki. It is not controlled, owned, or maintained by us. Um, there are those of us who go in there and update entries in there, but we don't have control of that, so we definitely don't have it like an API type of situation with it. GPT, of course, could be pointed towards the sort of wiki specifically, I believe, if we paid for it and things along those lines. But because it's a player maintained wiki, it's not always right, or not always current or accurate. We'll say it that way, right? So we again, if it was an internal thing that we maintained, or if it was going to the player doc, then it would be better. But to go back and use GPT to pull things from the wiki would not actually be as beneficial as one would hope. In addition to the fact that, yeah, we don't really want to use GPT because it is by default accessing the entire internet to get its information, and we can't really control where it's coming from based on the free aspect of using it. If
It would make me extra nervous to have
Yeah.
something like it wouldn't just give you facts. It would try to the way ChatGPT and stuff like that works is that it tries to make assumptions about what the answer is. It might give you something completely wrong, and if it's completely wrong, especially if you're a new player and you get frustrated because of the answer it gave you, then you might not want to play anymore, and that's just terrible. And I also say this from the perspective of many years ago when I first joined NCSoft, I ended up being in charge of the knowledge base, so I was the guy who made sure that the help articles were correct, and I don't want to trust today's like. I look forward to when we have like the Star Trek computer that is really smart and you can trust it to give you the answers you need. But I do not trust it right now to give you. I trust it to spit out dialogue for an NPC that's non-critical dialogue. I don't trust it to spit out anything that's critical.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It
there's
potentially
also
is a helper.
And there's also the issue that since the wiki is player run, some of them choose to put major spoilers in there that we would not want to provide as an official source.
Oh yeah, that
We
too.
want you to figure
Right.
things out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Sorry, it could be frustrating sometimes, but we like things to be surprises. I mean, it is a game. So there's supposed to be some challenge in it. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, just as a reminder, it is now 47 minutes past the hour, which means that it's time yet again for a prizing. Please, if you have not yet, log into the game and say happy birthday, Lord British, anywhere in any chat, universal, private, zone, whisper, whatever, and you'll be entered into the drawing to win one of these fabulous 5 prizes that we've been giving away today. The prizes will not be the same on the 12th. So, of course, there's a theme on the 12th because it's Lord British's birthday. So you could expect to see some Lord British themed items on the prizing then. But today we have some really cool stuff. So make sure you get in on that drawing. So either say Happy Birthday Lord British in the game, or you could buy something on the website, and that will also enter you into the drawing. So we'll be doing that drawing in probably about 10 minutes. So, okay, make it bright in here again. Okay, so let me see. I feel like I think we did a pretty good job of keeping up with the chat stuff, but I still feel like I missed something.
I like when they ask questions about quests, and I can answer them.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh yeah, no, there was something I wanted to do. Get back to the live. So I skipped around on my live stream scripting a little bit here. Okay, so I actually skipped over my housekeeping stuff, so I'm just gonna go over a little bit of that in the beginning here. Uh, One thing that's been out that I was asked to relay is to be sure to read the web store and Crown Store descriptions. Items that require a pot to place are clearly noted. Customer service has had an influx of folks having made purchases on things where they did not read the description, and this is stressful for the player as well as our staff to sort out. So please take the time to read the information that's presented. If there's something missing or wrong with any of the descriptions, let us know. But the items that are meant specifically for POT, like NPCs and other items that would be specific to a player-owned town only, like a spawner, uh, then they're in that category. When you go into the store, it's actually in that section. It says it's for POTs, and there's a built-in, in bold, mind you, uh, paragraph in there that says you need a player-owned town to place this. You have to be a governor or a steward. So please read. That's all I have to say. Read. All right. Also, another one that's important, because this has been an issue as of late, harassment of players is not acceptable. I said this last month. Apparently, it didn't work. So I'm saying it again. A reminder that we will suspend a player on the first occasion and issue a permanent ban on the second. This is not a three-strike rule thing. This is a one suspension, and then the second one is a ban. So you got to really make sure that you're mindful of the TOS. There's a lot of stuff that we don't go in there and micromanage this. I mean, seriously, if there's a player who's swearing a little bit too much, you could block them. Um, if there's somebody you don't like, there's ways to block them in the game. There's ways to, avoid players in the game like that. But if you're a player who's going to go in there and uh, talk about things that are, racially motivated, political, religious related, things like this that start stirring up problems, then you're probably going to get reported. And we have logs, guys. We can see what you're talking about, no matter where you are in the game. So, you know, uh, my only advice is to be nice, because Shroud of the Avatar, the world that we have here, is meant to get away from all the baloney that we have to deal with in the real world today. Nobody wants to have to deal with this. So that's that. Anyway, very important, because once you're banned, we do not. In the past, people would, come back a year later or something, and they'd be like, oh, well, we'll give you, no, no. Sorry, permaban is permaban. So unless there's some kind of mitigating circumstances, where if somebody got banned by an error, or, you know, uh, it turns out that there was a miscommunication of somehow, some way. But I mean, if you get to a permaban, it's pretty straightforward. So the point being is that watch yourself, be nice. To get banned from this game, it would be very obvious, and it's something that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing. So apologizing for it later is not going to help if it's the second time that we've been, had to talk to you about it. So, all right, and the last one, which is also another usual thing, do not contact the devs directly with game-related business. PMs in Discord or in the forums, or whispers in the game about things about reporting bugs, or questions about customer service-related things, or even things that really should be in Ask a Devs. Well, if anything, we will respond back to you telling you to go talk to support, or do an ask a dev or whatever. But basically, we get these enough that our general aspect at this point is we're just not going to respond back to you. So please use the right places for the right things. Ask a dev is available to you in the universal chat in game, and you could ask a question about game mechanics there. So if you're not sure if something is intended to be the way it is, or something along those lines that's very technical. It's min-maxing type of things. You could ask those questions there. And the reason why it's done in Universe Chat is so that way other people have the opportunity, other players who may already know the answer can actually interact and answer those things and start a dialogue on that stuff. The Ask-A-Devs get sent over to our internal chat. We very often, in fact, we had a discussion this morning about an Ask-A-Dev. So we very often have discussions internally about stuff, and anything that we don't answer on stream, then periodically I will go into the forums and update the thread that's in the announcements section that answers the Ask a Dev questions. If your question never gets answered on Ask a Dev, it's because it was a wish list item that you would like to see something in game that's not there now, or it was something that was you're reporting a bug. And those need to go into the forums in the proper sections. If it was an Ask-A-Dev and it's a valid Ask-A-Dev, we'll either answer it on stream or we'll answer it in the forums later. So that was the stuff that I missed that was bugging me. So I just wanted to get that in there.
And Deus Blackheart immediately put an Ask-A-Dev in the Twitch chat. But I'll answer it. The answer is Devil Cult did not tell us. We know what it is because I talked with him about it privately when he was discussing it. But if he has not told the players, he doesn't want you to know. He wants you to figure it out.
There you go. And that's the truth for all of us. If there's something that we didn't tell you, there's a reason for it. I could tell you right now that there are three different Easter eggs that I put into the game that nobody has found yet, and I'm not even giving out hints. Eventually, somebody will figure that out. So,
Gee, I can only think of two.
yeah, I know. One of them I still have to do something to finish. But yeah, no, there's definitely three of them in there. Okay, so let's see now. What else do we got? Oh yeah, the gonna run the prize innings. Yeah, doing that right now.
I'm gonna ask some more questions. Dave's Blackheart says, "Do you have a?" I'm blocking. Do you have a favorite quest that is on the live server? And then other people shared some, like the old prospector quest. That was a good one. I like that one. The duck quest. I actually like any quest that includes an emote award. Not just a special award, because any quest hopefully will have like something that you really just can't get everywhere else. Unfortunately, a lot of times we just sort of give you a golden experience, but it's kind of neat when we give you like a little decoration or like the virtue armor. But those were kind of nice making those quests, like to get to your courage armor and truth armor and stuff. I also like a quest that maybe makes you feel dumb sometimes. Like, by the way, also I have a lot of speaking of dumb, I have a lot of dumb pun names for a lot of my quests. Like behind the scenes, like you'll never see most of them.
Which is
like,
a shame because they're great. Awful.
Yeah, Topper Chef, Joe is me. What's some of these other ones I'm looking at?
One leg at a time.
What one?
One leg at a time.
Oh yeah, Pants on Fire. That's the virtue pants quest. Stuff like that. It's just dumb. It feels I feel obligated to do names like that. Some of them are sort of boring. Save Mildred one, sneak scene coins. But is Minor Threat, Miner. Lucky Nugget. That's the one. That's the old prospector one that eventually gets you the dance. I like. I also like a quest that has an interactive object. Could be a puzzle or it could be just something that gets displayed. So in Tangemire, there are these two parents whose daughter had died and they want to put a flower on a grave. So you help out with that, and then when you trigger something, the flower appears, which is just kind of nice. I have I don't really push it too far, I guess. But in Vickland, there's the chief who's a father and his son, and it's a terrible situation because uh, I don't want to give too much away about that little mini storyline, but the kid was with his mother. They were in a very dangerous area, and in an effort to save the son, she died. And the chief fully blames his son. And even though I don't say it straight out, you get the feeling that maybe he wished the son had died instead. Son has no courage. He shouldn't have been there, and he sort of failed in the way they got out. So I like that quest because you're trying to make an actual change between the relationship of these two NPCs. And of course, you can be a good guy or bad guy, so you can actually just make it worse if you want. With there's a couple of related quests. I think it's Erica's Amulet is what I call the first one. I kind of like. I also try making it hard for myself too, which is kind of a pain. But I also in Vickland, I like the sort of buried treasures quest that I have, which is you find these instructions, and they talk about you have to go to one of these locations, and instead of having like a map, an actual map, it's a description. You have to go to this place, and you go like nearby. But I had to make like a certain trigger area, treasure chest situation. So when you kind of found where I forget where there's like 7 or 8 locations, 9 locations, I forget what it is. When you get to the right spot, based upon where you had to orient yourself there based upon where the main statue is in the center of the scene, this big witch statue. And there are similar smaller ones throughout the scene. And when you find the one you want, you sort of like go a little bit to the north or whatever, and hopefully you find where the dig spot is. I kind of like that. That's the special interactive thing that I like. And we don't have that same exact quests somewhere else. You have some smaller, simpler quests, essentially like repeat a couple times. One time it's collect 5 of something, another time it's collect 3 of something else. But I guess I also like it's not that complicated, but it was the first time I did this sort of thing, which was Brooch Ash, which I like to call the Brooch.
In the good, because I never know how to pronounce that. I like that much better.
Yeah, I for some reason I got into my head that it was a college town. Everyone calls it the Brooch. Woo, drink. If I ever sort of loop around and sort of build up that town a little bit, there'll be like a little learning center, something somewhere in a little fraternity. But I have Umberjack, the criminal, on the docks, and he's got this shakedown quest, and he wants you to go to one of 3 places and sort of make sure you get the money or whatever. And I liked setting that up because the logic behind the scenes was a little bit complicated, but it ended up being fairly solid. And I do a similar sort of gimmick in a couple other spots because of how well it worked. But part of the reason was I just had to put something in the Brooch. I could have put that quest anywhere. You shouldn't really be able to sort of just put a quest anywhere. Like any story shouldn't just be something you could just pick up and put somewhere else. Like if it was a Batman story, you shouldn't just be able to take Batman out of Gotham City and then just put in somebody else from any company or any superhero. If that's the case, then it wasn't really a good Batman story, and maybe it's not a good story on its own. You really need to sort of like integrate stuff. But once I put that situation in the Brooch, I liked the sort of setup, and I imagine in the future, if there is like a center of learning there, and there is like a fraternity, then there may be some interconnections with Umberjack as the guy who gets like the frat boys their illegal booze or whatever. I don't know. I see it's like another hook. I set up a hook for myself for the future if I want to follow up on it.
Yeah, that's cool. I have in the Crown store I'll give a little bit of this in there is that if when I started taking over the Crown Store and adding items in, I started creating characters and little dramas and backstories and stuff in there. So in some of the item descriptions, they're not just saying, "Hey, look at this great thing. This will look great in your house or whatever." There's more to it, and I mean that's definitely like an Easter eggy type of situation that haven't really called any attention to, and it's not really an Easter egg, but some of the stuff that's in there, I guess, kind of is. But uh, the um, the thing I want to do there for that is I want to, because I've actually described an actual Crown Store front end and then a warehouse behind it. I want to get that into the game. I want there to actually be a location in the game, which, basically you go there and you could actually talk to one of the NPCs and they'll open up the Crown Store for you. That's not that big of a deal. But the NPCs would be actually named, against the people that are in the actual Crown Store soap opera that I got going on. And yeah, anyway, it's just I think there's like 5 different characters that I've started to flesh out through that, and that's pretty funny. This release, I actually put a very small, what might be thought of as a typo, Easter egg into one of the Crown Store descriptions, and it's actually um, in honor of one of the past devs. So, yes.
Looking through the chat, I also
If you had a typo in Crown Store descriptions and I didn't know that you were making a reference, did I fix it and not tell you?
Nope, you didn't fix it.
Okay, just checking.
Yep, I checked for it too, and it's like, I think it made it into the gold image. I think it's in the build. I'm not going to bring it up on the screen now, but yeah, the last time I checked, it was still there.
you got to be careful about that because I also will fix things. I remember actually early on when we first started taking crowns for pot upgrades, as an example. Chris or Atos, he would take those and he'd make the change, but he didn't tell me. So as I was doing other pot changes and I realized a pot had the wrong size, I would fix it to be what the data said, not what Chris had agreed it should be. And then it was wrong. And then I was, yeah, you got to tell me. You got to tell me. So I'll tell you. You can keep it secret from the players, but make sure Allie knows.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Otherwise, it's going to go away at some point.
She's the crossing guard.
Yeah, somebody's going to report it, and then it's going to be fixed.
Yeah.
You're going to be sad.
This one, anybody who knows, who looks at it will be like, oh, okay, that's on purpose. But But anyway, no big deal. Yeah, and then there's actually there's a scene that I have that has an Easter egg in it that somebody had asked in the chat how I know that nobody found it yet. Well, there's an Easter egg thread in the forums that the players are very proud to keep up, because it's like, first found it, and then
I love that thread.
Yeah, that's a great thread.
Thread. I think he's here in chat.
Yep.
That is one of the best threads ever.
Yeah, and it's I mean, other than that, I do have the ability to put it in logs and stuff to see if somebody finds something, but in this case, I just basically I go by that thread, and if nobody's said anything about it in that thread yet, then I'm pretty much assuming that nobody's actually found it, because some of these Easter eggs are pretty. Once you find them, if you know what you're looking at, then you definitely run over to that thread and update it. So. And there's an Easter egg that I never finished. I think Allie knows which one I'm thinking of. That actually would spawn if you recognize the Easter egg aspect of it, then it would spawn you to go on a little quest, a side quest of your own.
I don't know this one.
Oh, well, that just means you don't remember it. It was
Oh,
one.
okay, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was never completed. We just never did I wanted to do the whole thing and then go back and finish up the
Right. Do
yeah.
yeah.
So that's still on the table. That still needs to be completed as well. So yeah, no, it kind of it's funny that we're talking about this stuff because there was somebody who had asked a question a while ago saying, are there still like things scenes to discover in the game or something? And um, I mean we don't. I mean there are in our game it would be very difficult to actually put out a new zone, right, or a new scene, and then not say anything about it, and then have it be something that the players can discover. There are a few, I suppose, that are like that, but at this point most all of the zones are discovered. um, but there are definitely aspects that we throw into the game that like I mean, there's always going to be the sword and a stone type of Easter egg and things along those lines. But I think there are some more complex and very creative types of homages and Easter eggs that we have in the game that or more than just flyby where you just like, oh, look at the thing and then keep going. There's definitely more interactive ones that are in the game as well. So stuff to look for, and that thread would definitely help. I mean, that's 8 years of, or maybe even more, right, of Easter egg and reference collections that are in there. Okay. Oh, and we're late again. We have we have prizings to read off. So you want to still do the
Yeah.
all right, and Allium, I'm assuming you'd be more than happy to let me just do the players.
Yeah, you can go ahead. That's fine.
Okay, I figured.
So the first item is the crafting sigil tapestry.
And that goes to Waco Kid and Gustache.
Nice. And then the brass single hitching post. Brass single hitching post.
Aristodemus and Rinaldi. Speaking of which,
Nice. And then the flaming bagpipes. Those
that
bagpipes.
goes that goes to Cookie Lady Lancermane and Dagnus Norfall.
Congratulations. But the barbecue smoker cooking station goes to
Casey and Nefer Lermite.
and then the final item, the 3-story Viking crafting pavilion.
Goes to Hearn Donjon and Selenia.
Nice. Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations. Yay.
So I was scrolling up the list, by the way, the chat, and I can't let go of my quest talk that I've been doing.
Well, go for
Owsley
it.
Soda says Lost Veil Orb is cool. So those quests were a big pain. They were especially a big pain because it's, for the most part, it's sort of like one main section, like a hub that leads to 3 alternate sections, and each one can have their own sort of special way they're doing things. What we should have did was each of the 3 separate areas should have been their own separate instance, and that would have made things a whole lot easier for me. But I had to do a lot of special casing to sort of like to lock everyone out if one of those little side rooms was currently active. I made it harder for myself because I put in like the hard mode situation with the orbs to make it the battles tougher in there. So it was a lot of complicated logic that we kept having to go back and fix. It's nice how it is, and I'm super glad that it seems to be continuing to work properly. But it was a pain. I see also Vulcan Jedi, like the little white duck quest with Dupre. That's a 2-part callback to the old stories that Richard had, and he requested for that. That was good. That was a simple one. He had me do it, and he just sort of wanted it to be kind of long, a bunch of steps to meet a bunch of people. So I worked out how that was and made sure that it looped back to the roughly to the start. It's always kind of nice, by the way, when you have a big dungeon or play space where you have to do a lot of stuff, and then when you're finally done, you don't have to trek all the way back. You basically find yourself like at an easy exit. Like when we remade the Compendium of Pain and Suffering challenge dungeon, we reworked it so that there was like a hub and spoke system, and then when you were done, it was just easy way to get out. So that's always pretty cool. And this is the quest version of that, where you do a lot of stuff in a lot of places, and eventually you sort of end up where you need to be, which is pretty much where you started.
Can you make it daytime?
Yep.
Deus Blackheart says, "I love the armor quests." I assume he means the virtual armor quests. Yeah, they were pretty good. I whipped those out pretty fast, but they were pretty solid. And I like the scenes that they were in. I like setting up a character who's got like a little bit of their own voice and sort of has stuff. So sometimes you do an old lady, sometimes it's and actually that was kind of funny. There's a little bit of a Dear John letter situation in one of those things, which is kind of funny. Devin Arcane says, "I'm still mad at that Shifty Doe." I assume you mean in the far hinterlands, but yeah, that was funny. So I liked the idea of having, once again, sort of getting back to high fantasy, like come up to what you think is a person who was cursed to be an animal, and then you do this quest. And talking animals are an important thing in fantasy stories, so that was pretty good putting it in there. I don't really think we have a lot of that, unfortunately. We have like a dragon or two that you could talk to, but I don't think there's a lot of actual animals that you talk to. And Aurelius LH says, "Sannio, I think your silliest pun is Isle of Apples." So if you didn't know, I have a pot in the game called Isle of Apples, which is sort of like a test pot. Like as the pot implementer, I need to have like a working pot in case I need to sort of test something on a live server. So that's Isle of Apples. There's barely anything there if you want to go. It's like in the north center of the map by, I remember the name of the town up there. Borders End. Right? Borders End? No. I don't know. Top center. I'm not sure what he thinks
Yes,
Isle of Apples is.
it's the end of the river there. Your
Nice.
town is just west of that.
Yeah, it's called Isle of Apples because it's a history to my Sannio name. So in Ultima Online, I played on a server, the Baja server, that had a player-owned town, which for that meant you in that game you can place a foundation for a building, and you can place it next to your friends, and they can place it next to so you place a bunch of buildings next to each other, and then you just call it your own town, and you sort of hang out and you sort of police it and you chat with each other and you throw your own events. It's not like our game where you sort of get like your own play space. It's all yours and fully decorated. So this was more limited, but it's still pretty robust for at the time, and actually still awesome. So we had Avalon there, and for a little while I was also a seer, which was like a quest volunteer, and my name for that was Sannio. It's the first time I used Sannio, and I just keep using it as my industry nickname. And the reason why I use Isle of Apples is because Avalon, I think, traces its name back. I'm going to say it wrong, but it's like years if Avalon. I don't know. It translates to Isle of Apples. So that's why my island is up in center north, which is where Avalon was in Baja, center north. So there you go. It's an Easter egg, I guess. I'm revealing the Easter egg that no one will ever know. You would never know otherwise. Easter eggs in my mind only. Those are the best ones. Now you know.
So we have a question from in-game from Drizzt, who says, any plans to give players the ability to become a lichen or vampire? And no, we are not currently going to look at any of that stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say no long term, but it doesn't really fit into the Ultima lore or the Ultima structures. But you never know what might happen in episode 3, 4, and 5.
It would be pretty cool if you could be something else. That it was an idea that they wanted to look into it, but we didn't have time for an early for other episode stuff. It'd be kind of cool if we can get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
It would also be kind of cool if we had like some sort of, I'll say polymorph or whatever, some sort of shape changing thing where you could sort of temporarily look like something else. But that's
Right,
also
yeah.
complicated. To just completely switch out your visual is a complicated thing.
Yep.
I don't understand how complicated because I'm not a programmer on these games, but apparently it is very, very complicated.
Yeah. There's tech involved, but I'm sure it's not impossible.
Yeah, and there's
But
kind of two different ways. If you made it permanently and you sort of switch it off, like you can change your hairstyle and new you or something that maybe that's less complicated. But
right.
you, to be able to sort of change on the fly, like to be, I don't know, to drink a potion and suddenly like you're a wolfman,
Mm-hmm.
that's extra complicated.
Right. Well, I mean,
And I think it often means everyone sort of has to have that wolfman
yeah.
visual latent in your character, just sort of disabled and just ready to be active somehow.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could see a couple of methods like let's say you get infected with vampirism, that the game would have to do an instance change. So basically, you go and click on a bed, like in the old Ultimas, you go, start a campfire, right, to rest, and then basically it goes to a black screen. So you're doing a scene change at that point. So that allows the game to reload a new model for your avatar. But that would work for vampirism because once you're a vampire, unless you find a cure. And it could still be the same thing. Here, take this potion and go sleep. And once you rest, then you come back as not being a vampire. So it's
But we usually have like some strong visual. I mean, we
yeah.
as in like game creators, we have some strong visual.
Mhm.
We can just say you're a vampire. I mean, to do that, we could just say it in the quest and dialogue or whatever. But
Right.
But really, you want to have like a visual change, maybe like a skills change.
Hmm.
Like a blood drain gives you health.
Right, yeah. Well, that would be the main thing as far as gameplay is concerned, is that lycanthropy. I'm not going to say these things right. Being a lichen or a vampire.
Lycanthropy.
Yeah, that's it. They would introduce new skill trees, which of course, if we did do this, it wouldn't be until after we balance the skills out, go through do a skills pass and make sure everything is proper, and then work out how to add and this is the key thing, the whole purpose of doing balance, just to touch on that for a second, is to make sure that we can go forward and add new things into the game without having to worry that it's going to, break stuff, or be OP and all that type of situation. So,
yeah.
you know,
There's also the concern that if you make any change to the character that actually does anything more than just changing skin color or something, then you need to make 2 more versions of every piece of clothing in the game to fit the new shape.
yeah, that's true too. Absolutely.
Yeah, changing the skin color. We're lucky because we set up our character models so that the skin color could be changed like that. This is kind of a dye situation, as in like dyeing colors, but it's a little different than like dyeing like an object. But it's a swapping out a color or overlaying a color, so it's easier than changing, like if we wanted to give you pointed ears. That's a bigger difference.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that would cause problems with hats immediately if it's just ears.
Yeah, and if we just gave you like basically like a wolf face hat or a pointy ears hat or whatever, or a mask that had teeth, I don't know what would work. The thing is, you would still see your regular character underneath if you sort of spun the camera around in certain ways. So it would be less than satisfactory setup.
Right.
We do have full head masks for things, but that's replacing the hat slot. It's not a change to the body that then you could stick a hat on.
Yeah, right. So if you were like a werewolf, wolfman, whatever, you still want to wear that fancy hat to all the parties.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. It's like even go through that. You know, as far as a werewolf is concerned, you know, you could say that, well, if you're a werewolf, then you're not going to wear any clothes. You know what I mean? Something like that. It makes it easier. Not that we would do this, but you know, as
Right, but in our game,
opposed, huh?
you might want to be. I mean, we're talking about werewolves and stuff,
Yeah,
but maybe you actually want to be like a kobold because that's a part of our history, and they have their own cities now. And you can get buildings that are kobold style. Maybe you want to have like a little kobold town in one area,
right, right.
but uh, and
Yep,
how would that look? You know, their legs are wrong. You know, they don't have human legs. They have this sort of the retrograde
right, right.
legs.
Yeah, and this again the you know, like vampires, that would definitely be the most complex because you know the skin tone would have to be changed, and there are certain. I mean, if I was going to do it, I wouldn't want it to be the uh, glitzy vampire. It would have to be more of the horrific type of vampire. So they, you know, basically our elves look to me look
Yeah,
like
the
vampires.
Nosferatu
Yeah,
from
exactly.
the
Right.
original from Germany.
Yeah. Let me see who. Tular said that there's still, you know, clothes that show normal skin. That's to say, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be gone through to fix skin shading and things like that. There's been a few that we've been able to fix as we come across them and everything, and they're not simple fixes. They're a pain in the butt actually to go fix that type of shading stuff. Some of them we've actually done the same thing we've done. We'll fix B the same way we fixed A, but B still doesn't work right, and it still shows the wrong color. So it's a sketchy system as far as that's concerned. So
And then it sort of gets into what we talked about like an hour ago, where you start finding like the little glitches. So you have maybe you have like something that sort of changes the color of the arm, and then you realize that there's like a set of armor or something that has it's not prepped right. We prepped in a way that we would need it. So the arm is always showing like the color, like say a white guy's elbow, and it doesn't sort of even adapt to the other skin colors that we might have. And then if we started adding in werewolf stuff, then what shows in that spot if we want to keep like the armor? Does it show? Yeah, how would we show like a hairy arm? A werewolf hairy arm
right,
sticking
right.
out the elbow area.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a ton of work. So things like werewolf and vampire. I don't want to say it's not skill lines, but you know, character classes. Yeah, it's more of a class. I mean, we're technically classless, but you know, if you were to, my point here is that these things need to be thought about at the beginning of the game, because of all of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
So that way, as the game evolves and gets bigger and bigger, I mean, as I said, I think I've said it earlier, we have about 20,000 items in the game that the players can interact with. And then if you start including all the different aspects of things that affect the models and everything, it's even more. So there's a lot of stuff in there. And amazingly enough, our client is still very small. Where are we now? About 15, 16 gig? I don't even remember. Or no, it's more than that, right? It's like 30 gig? I
We'd also have to
don't know.
think about like the fiction too. Like the fiction is that you are a character that has come from Earth and is is there's a huge, strong possibility that you are the Avatar, and you go on all these activities to confirm whether you are or not, or what sort of Avatar you want to be. So uh, you wouldn't want to wreck that whole premise by saying like, okay, everyone could just be a vampire. You'd have to sort of come up with rules. Like if it was just a temporary thing, sort of like a story arc based,
Hmm.
uh, then maybe that's fine. Or maybe your first character can never be one of these. It always has to be a human from Earth that could be the avatar. And
Right,
then if you made another character, maybe that's anything goes. So you'd have to decide how these things work. And
right,
also the problem is uh, in many spots in our dialogue, we will, kobolds especially, they'll call you human. I think satyrs probably also call you human. So there would be a bunch of edits that would have to be made, I guess. And
Yeah.
if they don't call you human, a lot of people call you avatar. If your other character is not the avatar, if they're out of the running for being the avatar, then the wording in a ton of places would have to change.
Yeah, there would definitely have to be NPCs that would have to be coded to say if you're a vampire, then they would shy away from doing business with you. You know what I mean? Things like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff that would have to change. But I mean, if we were to do something like that, it would in my mind, it wouldn't be a character creation choice. It would definitely be something that you'd have to be infected with. I mean, both of those.
I like the idea
Things
for
are
our
that.
game. Yeah, like a story true
Yeah, exactly.
alternative.
Right.
Even cooler if you could sort of flip flop back and forth at a certain point. Maybe you sort of stuck with it until like a certain part of the story, and then you just have some control.
Yep.
So it's like you're a
Exactly.
werewolf. You have no control of being a werewolf. You stuck like that for a while, but maybe not forever, because sometimes I played some games where they had some stuff like that, and it was just awful. But actually, they were awful because they had like a penalty involved, and so you were stuck thinking, like maybe you didn't want to finish that quest right now, and you had that penalty outside of the storyline when you're just trying to play the rest of the game, and it was awful.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and that's the way I would do it as well. There would have to be a complete the quest and then, have a cure type of thing for it. I mean, what I was really going to say specifically was that the way to resolve it, to I'd say cure the vampirism or lycanthropy, is would have to be within the lore of the game. It would not be a UI thing, or like go to the new use store and change your anything.
Yeah,
It would have to be within in the context of the game.
yeah, you would have to. I don't know, I'm just making this up right now, I guess, but you'd probably have like a special area, Van Helsing Town. There's a bunch of people who hate vampires, and so you couldn't, if you had, if you presented as a vampire, then you would not have the best interaction with them. Probably we wouldn't fully cut you off. We don't have like a great faction system, so maybe it'd be like Crooked Shank, where once you talk to people, they see your teeth, I guess, in the fiction, and then they start attacking you. But we could also try to put in something where they, we have a gimmick that for merchants that you can, if you get a certain quest flag, the merchant won't serve you anymore. So potentially we can sort of have that in there as well. And then if you cure it, we sort of take away that flag, and now the merchant is available again.
Right.
So some of these things are possible.
Yep.
But the fact that maybe some of the hassle is contained to Van Helsing Town and related quests, then that would be better. Because then if you sort of just you took your avatar character who was infected with whatever this problem is, or cursed with it, and then he went to Valhold or Far Hinterlands or whatever, he could still do these quests, and people would still potentially treat him well.
Yeah.
It would be crazy. So this is a great case for like AI.
Yeah.
Because to put in conditionals to like every conversation and every NPC to have them react differently when they saw you because of your current state, it would be a nightmare. I would never do it. But to have AI to say, okay, AI, keep all your normal rules, but also let's put in, like, if you see a player with these tags or qualities, adjust your dialogue in this way. Don't call them Avatar or Outlander, call them Vampire or you monster or whatever. That would be a good case for
Right.
for
And
AI.
just to reiterate, since I find that after these streams, some folks come away with different versions in their head than what's been said. We are not currently considering either of these two classes in any way, shape, or
This
form.
is not a brainstorm session.
Yeah.
This is just giving you insight into the mind of a designer.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if we were going to talk about something like this, we would be talking about like way down the road. But All I'm saying on it is that not closed to the idea. I We have no current plans whatsoever, but it's not an impossibility that we might think about it later. But we'd have to deal with all these issues that are presented to us from the pre-existing years of development of the game that makes it where we have to touch 1,000 things just to make something happen. So
Oh, 1,000 would be
a little,
welcome if
yeah,
it was only 1,000.
yeah, that would be nice. Um, so yep, that's where we are. So anybody else have any more questions for us? I think that we're actually starting to
El Donero says, still waiting on Santa to put in the pirate town. We have a couple of pirate towns. We have Blood Bay with the
I
scoundrel.
think she means the one on the south coast of the West Island of Mistrander.
Oh, yeah. It's not pirates, but yeah, okay. I get you.
The original description that's still up for Mistrander listed a pirate town.
Well, what it should suggest is that it's another. It would be the third Norgard town.
No, aside from that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll link you.
Okay. I don't even know.
Clearly, it's not up to date.
Yeah.
Like on the other side of the island? What did you say it was?
On the south coast, directly
the West
south.
Island, south. Okay, by the breach. I don't even know where the breach is. I'll have to look it up.
No, that's the East Island.
What I want to put in is an obsidian elf town on the eastern island, roughly near the Obsidian Panopticon. That'll be story related. Can we get a village water home that is a storefront for fishing? I don't know. That's more you guys than me.
Gotcha. So Drizzt is he's actually asked this in Askadev, I think more than once, but about marketing. So just to say in general, and and I've addressed this in recent months as well, that we have certain things that we need to get done to certain polish aspects of the game before I'd feel comfortable throwing a lot of money into marketing. Not to mention the fact that we don't have money for marketing right now. And I hate to say this, type of thing constantly, but obviously, if you haven't subscribed to the game and you like the game, please subscribe to the game. There's an optional subscription. If you go into the store, you'll see a banner at the top of the store page that talks about a rewards program. That is our optional subscription. I have a task open with Tassilo to redo a lot of that interface and give it its own page. So like right when you go over onto the website, or even I guess in the Crown Shop, I think we have, if you're not a subscriber, in this little bottom left-hand corner, it'll say something about being a subscriber, I think, or, oh no, that's episode 2. Yeah, it says something for episode 2 there. But basically, the interface on the website is the subscription plan is kind of hidden, which hurts us. And I've asked Haslo to change that around and put it into one of the main menus, in addition to adding a second tier and third tier of subscription, which will give players a bigger discount, a chunk of Kodos for a bigger discount as part of the subscription. So in a convoluted way, I'm saying that we'd love to do marketing. Even right now, I'd love to do marketing, but there's not enough cash coming in to do the marketing. We're not in any danger of shutting down. No, we're not in any danger of having any problems whatsoever. Everybody's getting paid. Everybody's doing good work here. But we do need to increase the conversion of players to income. And so again, if you like the game, please subscribe, and there'll be hopefully in the next month or so higher tiers of subscriptions that you'll be able to throw some more money at us that way and get some more crowns for it as on a monthly basis, auto delivered to your inbox or
Uh,
your reward box.
I also would not like to see a big marketing push before we can properly support the new Apple Silicon.
Yep, yep. Well, that's another thing, and then that's not dropped off the face of the earth either. Upgrading to a more recent version of Unity is part of our task list, and I'm I need to dedicate somebody to that for a period of time. And that it's like everything has got something else that has to be done. So for me to be able to get to a point where I could ask Devil Cult to dedicate all his time to working on Unity 2021 and or possibly at this stage 2023, which may be a better option going forward. We'll see. I have to get infrastructure changed, and I've been working on new hardware for, geez, it's like a year now. We've managed to get more of the new hardware in place, uh, and I have to configure more new hardware that's sitting behind me. Once I get that done, then I'll be able to put up extra development machines in a whole new branch that will allow us to do the migration work to go to the new Unity. But once that's started, it has to be followed through. We ran into that hiccup when we were working on the Unity conversion and or update, upgrade, however you want to look at it. And so the Unity work was stopped, and when even waiting a couple months means that all the files that had been already converted would have to be reconverted again because we keep updating the game. So so that's a bigger project as it is. But I'm working on getting separate development environments set up so that way we'd be able to plow through that whole thing and dedicate a person to working on the Unity conversion to get us up to the current long-term supported versions of Unity. My preference at this stage would, if we could, go to the one release behind the current GA, which in theory would be 2023. If I could get us up to that, then we have a bigger window of time while the long-term support is still supported. That version is still supported in the window. But then also we would have to set up a consistent um, development cycle on that migration branch, so that way we could continually just keep on updating to new versions. In theory, the skip from 2023 to 2024 would be a lot less intrusive than skipping from 2018, which is what we're on now, to 2020 anything, right? There's a lot that's changed between where we are now and what the current long-term support uh, branch or code line is, code base is. So once we get that initial jump done, then in theory, we'd be able to keep up with Unity and keep on upgrading one release behind where they are now. I don't think I'd ever want to be on the current GA of Unity. Um, it's a general practice in IT to stay one full release behind whatever GA is.
Yeah, let someone else work out the bugs.
Exactly. I mean, this is something that changed in the 80s, where technology kind of exploded in the 80s a bit, and most all software companies or companies that have firmware and software involved basically said, "Well, why are we spending time beta testing this?" And so you guys are the beta testers for stuff, and obviously I don't want to be in that situation. So in my IT engineering experience and during that life that I had, um, we across all the different jobs, all the different clients that I ever supported, it was also always a standard to stay one release behind for stability, because if you're in mission critical, you don't want to be on the edge. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. There are companies out there that are large enough that can do it and not suffer, but um, even companies that make $100 million a month are shy away from doing that type of thing. You'd have to be in $1 billion a month type of area to be willing to say, "What? You got a new thing? Sure, give it, send it over here." And when I say this way, I know a specific company that literally said that to a manufacturer. Just said, "Yeah, sure, send us over whatever new you have, and we'll put it in place." But they were big enough that they would just put it in one location, and they were a global company. So if the one location started having problems, then they didn't. I don't want to say they didn't care, but it was easy enough for them to back out of it, or it didn't affect their entire business. So. All right, and then I guess that also leads into saying that one of the things I hinted at the beginning of the stream is that I've been trying to make some changes so that way we could change our release cycle. Having monthly releases is fine. You guys get bug fixes and some we trickle in new content throughout the entire year that way, but it severely limits the amount of work that we could get done in any one release cycle, and then everybody has to take a pause while I'm spending the last week of the month working on prepping the servers and everything for the new build. So um, we've um, we've accomplished part of it, and then there's a second part that I need to get Devicult to work on that will allow us to officially say that our build cycle is a 90-day build cycle, so once a quarter, right? So we'll have 4 major releases a year, and then we'll still fix anything critical. If there's a game-breaking bug, we'll still have patches in between. But then you would see. It would basically just make it more obvious how much content and how much we're actually doing, where we come bringing in the patches on a quarterly basis and allow us more time uninterrupted to develop a new scene or new quests or whatever. So that way, uh, I mean, if you compare it to other games, their zones are larger and more complex, and you'll see that they'll either release a new zone once a year or twice a year. So we still follow along with um, those those um, uh, those goals, those markers, whatever you want to call it. Historically, that's how long it takes us to release a new zone or a new scene. But because we do monthly releases, it's like you guys see the micro steps involved, and it goes back to what I was saying before. Episode 2. It's going to be anticlimactic for you guys who are playing it now, because we'll just say, okay, episode two's done, but then you've already played it. Which
Speaking
also.
of done, goodbye, Keith.
Yeah, I have to go.
Oh, okay.
Well,
See you
I
later.
didn't want to cut into what you were saying,
Oh,
but
gotcha. Yeah, I know I have my notifications turned off because it, beeps
oh,
over the thing. So sorry I didn't see that. All right.
that's
Have a
it.
nice night. See you later.
All right. Hope everyone is like the extra long stream,
Yeah,
extra info, quests and stuff.
exactly. Yeah, no, definitely.
All right, everyone. So long.
All right. See you later, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so bottom line is that we got a lot of work to do, and as usual, not a lot of resources, but we're not stopping. We have no reason to stop, and we're going to keep going. And as far as marketing is concerned, which was the original question, please, word of mouth is actually more effective in some cases. So, go out there and tell friends and stuff, and get more people to come in and try the game. Uh, I mean, look, we don't push Steam. We don't. There's no real benefit for us to be on Steam. It's a free-to-play game. We absolutely get no money from Steam whatsoever. Um, and So the player count on Steam is low because we don't encourage people to go over to Steam to buy the game, or get the game. So especially you create an account on our website, you could download the game directly there. Why bother worrying about Steam? There's pros and cons there. We won't go into that conversation. But my point is that just recently we were talking about other stuff and happened to be looking at the comments on Steam and things. And granted, yeah, our user base is low on Steam, so of course the bulk of the people out there are like, oh, the game is dead, or there's only 12 people playing the game because Steam says there's only 12 people playing the game, which is absolutely positively false. But the bulk of the comments that I've seen over even the last 3 or 4 releases have been positive. And they're new people too, new players. So to stress this again, in lieu of our marketing right now, because we don't have the money to actually throw in the marketing, then players helping us out by spreading the word about the game, being nice to new players, please, and helping new players. This is the best marketing we can have at the moment. And then once we get the things done that we want to get done, like getting onto the newer version of Unity Engine, some polish on the new user experience, the first scenes that you hit, things like that, which I've been talking to Scotty about some stuff, so we have some ideas of what we might do, and we have to talk to the team about these things as well. So there's a lot of changes that we have planned to do. It's just going to take it takes a little bit longer than larger companies to get it done. That's all there is to it. So bear with us, and stick around. There's a lot more new and cool stuff coming. So again, we'll do one more prizing drawing. So if you're still in game, please say not long live the king, but happy birthday, Lord British. Happy birthday, Lord British. And another 4 or 5 minutes, and I'll do the last 2 drawings of the day. So, Allie, do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
No, I don't even know what you all talked about since I missed most of the first hour.
Oh, this is just...
We had one slightly reasonable day for weather when I wanted to get things done before it gets hot again.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no. We just talked about how wonderful Allium is, so, that took about 20 minutes.
An hour?
That was 20 minutes.
That sounds more reasonable.
Yeah, so I mean, again, yeah, all right. Well, that's one way to do it. Vulcan Jedi uses QA, uses Steam for QA. Of course, the whole methodology that Steam has for our QA server is horrible. I'm sure that there could have been some other things done, but if you're on Steam and if you're playing the game through Steam and you want to get on the QA server, which is open 24 hours a day, for players to go up there and check out things that are not yet on the live server if we're asking for testing directives, and or even just go up there and maybe do some decoration changes on your POT or in your house that you don't want to. You want to experiment, but then not have to redo it on the live server. QA is definitely a non-dangerous place to go. But
And you have help in doing that because you get lots of gold and crowns and experience every day that you log into QA.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of different reasons to use Steam, but the thing about QA in Steam, though, is that you technically are uninstalling the game and reinstalling the QA client and then flipping back and forth. It's a real pain in the neck. So I would, like in the case of Vulcan Jedi, I'm sure he's said, based on what he said, I'm sure what he's doing is he's got the QA client running on Steam, and then he's got the live client, the regular server, on a direct download. So that's fine. And of course, you could still use QA on a direct download as well. The links to install the QA client directly are in the bug forums. I'm sorry, not in the bug forums, in the player test environment forums. Right at the top of the screen, there's a link for Windows, Mac, Linux, and everything. So cool. All right, one more minute, and then we'll run the thing. So I'm definitely losing my voice. Yeah, and this is another reason why I need to move to 90-day dev cycle. It's too draining. I mean, it really is. I my my week for the release week, um, Monday we have a meeting just to make sure everybody's on board and what we're doing. And then Tuesday I'm looking to do the builds and make sure that everything is in place. And generally by Tuesday we're doing a live build and we know that we're good. We're safe. Worst case is Wednesday. I'm still doing a live build, and so
And any articles I've asked you to write.
exactly, articles for the newsletter, and then on Wednesday, I spend most of Wednesday actually working on the set list for my DJ session. Um, so and then I have to, and throughout this is the thing is, I mean, everything I'm mumbling about right now does not explain it well because my sleep schedule has to change. I mean, throughout the whole month, I could have a normal sleep schedule, like all the rest of you day walkers, and uh, but when I get down to the end of it, um, I have to get the Crown Store all ready. I have to, do all the subscription stuff and all the other little minor updates. I'm doing marathon sessions, so I end up staying up like 24 hours at a time, or certain things have to be done at night because otherwise I'd be interrupting normal dev work. So by the time I get to Tuesday or Wednesday, I am definitely on a nighttime schedule, and I have to be up at 6 in the morning to do the release on Thursday morning. So Wednesday is kind of like Tuesday into Wednesday, I'm usually staying up 24 hours, and then Wednesday I hope to be able to get a nap before before I have to actually do the release in the morning on Thursday morning. So. Loads of fun. I can't tell you how many times I've been working Wednesday night right up to the end to get everything ready, and then I'm doing the final stuff on the DJ session, my music set, between midnight and 6 a.m. Thursday morning. So loads of fun. Anyway, if I could get, yeah, exactly, no sleep for me. If I if I could get us onto a 90-day dev cycle, then a lot of that goes away. I would still want to do our live streams, but the live stream, the nature of the live stream would change because then I'd be able to tell you like, oh, and we're working on this, and here's a progress thing, and here's maybe Scotty could come on and show you a few things that he's working on in the 3D editor, and Sannio could come on and say, and here's the new scene that we're working on, things like that, because then we have more time to actually do those things, and then there's less pressure on the stream to get that part done. Okay, I am running the prisoning now.
I don't know. It's easier to keep 1 month of work in my head at a time.
Mm,
I mean, this month was filled with 30 courses, so
yeah, yeah.
they take up a lot of space.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Horses in your head. Just there was a song I played on Thursday morning by the band Live. It's actually an untitled track at the end of the Throwing Copper album, and it's she's got horses in her head. So there you go.
Also, it is now evening again.
Oh yeah, sorry. I got glowy things going. There we go. All right. We got one. Now we can do another one. This is actually so far so good. You know what's going to happen here on the last one. We're going to get duplicates. We haven't had any duplicate winners the whole day here.
Yeah, you just jinxed us.
I know. That's how that goes. So any interesting items in the game that we added?
Well, let's see. There's 30 horses. It would have been 36, except deco spawners for the premium fulls already exist. They're in the vault, so they've been cycling through for years.
Yeah. Yeah, not going to change anything there for the moment. That's actually another balance phase, just the crown store by itself.
Yeah,
Pricing, I think some of the prices are going to have to change, and not more expensive, guys.
yeah. We need to.
So,
Actually, I can do a quick grep to find if there are any store entries that exist that haven't been turned on, like the sparkler boxes.
yeah. I definitely there are definitely at least 3 or 4 items that I know are disabled in the store, and one of them I know for sure is because we don't want that item in the game. Um, it was something that was poorly designed, so it just needs to be ripped
And
out.
it's not the Cupid outfit?
No, it's something else. But yeah, I mean, even that, it's like there are some things that actually I could remove them. It's just manual. For me to go in there, I have to edit some XML files to actually remove things properly, and that's why they're just disabled and floating around. So we have to be careful about that. But
Yeah, I wasn't automatically going to turn anything on, just get a
oh
list.
yeah, no, not at all. You know what? Yeah, it just didn't. It just decided not to give me another prizing. Okay, come on, do your thing. I don't know why it doesn't trigger sometimes, but whatever. As long as it's not crashing on me. Oh boy. All right. So, actually, it's a question. Are horses ever going to be able to jump, or might boats be able to sail? Well, I would hope that would be an and, but the bottom line is that both of those things are things I would like to see. The horses, I do have I don't think it's in Jira yet, but I have an epic outline for Horses Phase 2, which is actually up on my whiteboard too. Yeah, Mounts Phase 2 up there. That involves some refinement of animations, like when you get off the horse, that it'll actually kind of come to a skidding stop the way it should. There would be the jump button would be tied into the horse. So if you're standing still and you hit jump, then the horse will rear up. And then, of course, also being able to jump on the horse. So those things will all be in the phase 2 of horses, but it's not currently on the table of things to do this year. So um, then what was the other one about? Oh, boats. Yeah, boats is a little bit more of a difficult situation.
Boats are just horses, right?
Well,
That can
yeah,
swim?
yeah, exactly. So what we really need to do is we need to fix our water. Um,
Yeah.
but once we fix our water, I think that would make because I mean we could do boats right now, but it would look like crap. So the water needs to be fixed. Alrighty.
And you did jinx us with the duplicates.
Yeah, there you go. See? Oh yeah, look at that. Well, it was bound to happen, right? Okay. Well, there's some interesting responses there. All right. Would you like to read off anything?
Sure.
All right.
The crafting sigil tapestry goes to,
Sexy Janine and Temujin,
and the brass single hitching post goes to,
Temujin and Sage Rain,
the flaming bagpipes go to,
Darkline and Olympe,
the barbecue smoker cooking station goes to.
Shepri and Michael Rain.
And the 3-story Viking crafting pavilion goes to.
Red Hammer and Rhyme. And there you go. That is it. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the winners tonight. The prizes will be sent out by the wonderful Lainey, more than likely over the weekend, but possibly on Monday. So um, she's really, really good at that. So I just don't know where she's at this weekend. Okay, so we just need to wrap things up here. Give me a second. I just want to check some stuff. All right, good. And then this and do do do. Yeah, I think we've covered all the topics that we could possibly cover. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out with us for 3 hours today. That's wonderful. So, again, one final reminder on the 12th, that's in 2 weeks, Friday at 4 p.m. Central, we will be having a celebration of Lord British's birthday. That will be, we're scheduling it as a 4-hour stream, so it'll be even longer than this one. Again, we'll do plenty of Q&A through it. We'll have Richard and a bunch of other devs on the stream. We'll talk about what happened for that release. Or no, actually, no, that is this release. So we can talk about this release a little bit more, but we'll also talk about a whole bunch of other things that are going on. Not to mention the fact that we will definitely have some monsters being spawned and battles going on, things like that. So hope to see you there, and have fun. Talk to you soon.
Good night.